What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 9 centigrams Chapter 156. Xiaozhi enlightens Xiaochen, Xiaohao causes public outrage. Advertisement, Diantha. Lugia didn't go with Xiaozhi, but it was to test Xiaozhi's performance. Wallace. I am becoming more and more curious about what happened between Lugia and Xiaozhi, close black lens bracket. Yu Longdu. Speaking of which, this Poseidon is quite capable of whim. He was still fighting just now, but now he is taking people away as he says, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Cynthia. Haha, the temperament of gods is uncertain, close black lens bracket. Alder. By the way, it seems that the dark-skinned boy also wants to chase Lugia, close black lens bracket. Steven. Hey, what do you care about him? There is no need to pay attention to the kind of person who abandons his companions. He will stop chasing after 3 minutes. Or do you still want to catch up with Lugia just downhill? You didn't sleep. Woolen cloth. Close black lens bracket many champion elites were also confused by Lugia's nonsensical idea. Lugia's sudden idea is really unpredictable. In addition, the scene where Xiaohao chased Lugia was also seen by them. Besides Xiaozhi, is there anyone else who wants to catch up with the mythical beast on foot? They really don't recognize themselves. Image 1 Lugia took Xiaozhi and Xiaochen to fly high into the sky, keeping pace with the clouds. Then, with tyrannical force, he directly opened the sea water, taking the two of them into the sea to swim. In just half a day, the two of them flew across countless areas. On Lugia's back, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen officially met. Xiaozhi was a little surprised to learn that Xiaochen was afraid of Pokémon. Why are you afraid of Pokémon? Pokémon are obviously very cute guys. Look at how many Pokémon we saw today, isn't it interesting? It's interesting. But, I was attacked by Pokémon when I was a kid, and I was left behind by my friends. Xiaochen slowly told Xiaozhi the things in her heart that even her parents had not told her. Do not know why, if it was the boy next to her, she didn't think it was a big deal to tell him. After hearing 230 Xiaochen's experience, Xiaozhi said angrily. That person named Xiaohao is too hateful. How could he leave his friends and run away? But as for Nidoking, he will not attack humans casually unless Nidoqueen has just given birth to a baby. This way, when humans step into their territory, the intimidating passers-by will be scared away. Xiaozhi is no longer a fledgling boy now, he has traveled through 7 regions. You actually know everything about most Pokémon, of course. Occasionally embarrassing things like poison-type fighting steel-type will still happen. But compared to when I first started traveling, it's a huge difference. You want Xiaozhi, who has just come out to travel, to tell you this kind of knowledge. Even if you pry open his head, you won't be able to find any of these cognitions. Is that so? It seems. Nidoking really didn't mean to attack me, he didn't even use his skills in the first place. With Xiaozhi's guidance, Xiaochen also recalled some details that he had missed out of fear. You know, Nidoking directly used the terrifying skill Fisher when facing Mew. But when dealing with her, he only made physical movements and didn't even touch her. If Xiaohao hadn't left her behind, I'm afraid she would have been so scared and desperate. By the way, Xiaoharu, aren't you Professor Sakuragi's daughter? Don't you know this knowledge? Hearing this, Xiaochen's pretty little face suddenly puffed up, with an angry look on her face. What? What happened? Did I say something wrong? Although Xiaozhi's emotional intelligence is still somewhat low, he can still tell when others are angry. One of the reasons why I hate Pokémon is, everyone in school says I'm Professor's child. They all think I know Pokémon very well. Does being a Professor's child mean that I have to know Pokémon? If Xiaohao abandoned her when she was in danger as a child, which accounts for half of the reason for hating Pokémon, then the gossip from classmates in school takes up the other half. She doesn't like the stereotypes her classmates have on her. She was in the rebellious stage and didn't like Pokémon to begin with, but because of her classmates' words, she became even more disgusted with Pokémon. Kanto Region, Vermilion City. Professor Sakuragi looked at what Kaharu said on the screen and finally understood why Kaharu didn't like Pokémon. Don't even want to mention Pokémon, if it weren't for the fact that Lei Dongwang was raised since childhood and was not treated as a Pokémon by Xiaochen. I'm afraid Xiaochen will be disgusted by Wang Hu calls. This made him hate the boy named Xiaohao even more. Fortunately, he thought that Xiaohao's cheerful personality could influence Xiaochen and make her cheerful again. Unexpectedly, the culprit turned out to be that guy. He must never be allowed to associate with Xiaochen again. In the image, after hearing Xiaochen's words, Xiaozhi was silent for a while, and then said with a bright smile. I have been a Pokémon trainer since I was 10 years old. Along the way, I have made many friends and become friends with many Pokémon, even legendary Pokémon. In terms of combat, it wasn't until some time ago that I won my first Alliance championship. But I've never been discouraged by Pokémon battles and Pokémon. Because they are what I love, because, from the beginning to now, my goal has not changed, that is, to become the world's #1 Pokémon master. Advertisement, Pikachu. Pikachu also responded from the side. The comfortable and gentle wind blew on Xiaozhi's face, making his smile even more contagious. Xiaochen was stunned for a moment. What kind of things have he experienced that make this young man so determined to set his goal? Lugia, who was being ridden by them, also had inexplicable thoughts flashing in his eyes. Several years have passed since he met this young man, but the young man's character and dreams have not changed at all. This is the brave man of the sea whom he chose. Yulongdu. I'm in tears. No matter how much time passes, Xiaozhi is still the same Xiaozhi. Wallace. That sentence sounds a little sad. I started traveling when I was 10 years old, and it was not until recently that I won the conference champion. What a bumpy road this must be. Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Humph, if Xiaozhi had used the previous Pokémon normally, how could he have won until Alola? Day. Breeder has more Pokémon, and it is normal to have good rotation during the battle, but it is the first time I have seen Pokémon that are not as good as Breeder to participate in a conference. Close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi. But there is no point in participating in the conference without using the Pokémon captured in the current region. Gary. Huh. You are indeed an idiot, Xiaozhi. If it were me, I would have won the championship long ago. Open black lens bracket Xiaozhi. What did you say, Stinky Mao? Close black lens bracket, Professor Oak. Okay, if you want to argue, just go offline. Isn't it just next door? You have to be on the barrage list, close black lens bracket. Taizan. Ha, Xiaozhi, you guys are really interesting, close black lens bracket. Finally, Xiaozhi and Gary broke their heads, offline at Professor Oak's laboratory, and Xiaozhi was about to take action, ending the quarrel. In the image, Xiaozhi, it's almost time to go back, I have to go back to the ocean. Oh, it's so fast, I still want to fly for a while? I just came out this time to get some air. Normally I have to maintain the stability of the ocean currents in the ocean, so, I'm sorry. That's it doesn't matter. Let's meet again next time if we have a chance. If you were a normal person, let alone parting with Lugia calmly. At this time, I am afraid that I will try my best to conquer Lugia. But Xiaozhi is obviously not a normal person. The mythical beasts he has seen are all gone. There are only a few mythical beasts in the world that he has not seen. As he said, this time with Lugia was just a short separation. If you still want to meet Lugia, there will always be a chance. Soon, Lugia brought the two back to Vermilion City Harbor. In full view of everyone, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen jumped off Lugia's back. Then Lugia spread her wings and returned directly to the sea. Take care, Lugia, as Xiaozhi shouted, the churning sea gradually returned to calm. That boy got off Lugia's back, right? It seems. He even said hello to Lugia? Does he know Lugia? The surroundings gradually began to become commotion. When Xiaozhi saw this, he immediately pulled Xiaochen and ran quickly. I encountered something good today, but now is not the time to be in a daze. Let's start running, Xiaochen. Xiaochen followed Xiaozhi's pace as if waking up from a dream. Later, the two returned to Sakuragi Laboratory. Professor Sakuragi and Professor Oak are both in the laboratory and have not left. There were also some researchers included, and the rest of the friends who came to support us were basically gone. But there is another person here, and that is little thing with dark skin. He was bragging about meeting Lugia and how he almost caught Lugia. Professor Sakuragi naturally took this as a joke. Is it possible to see Lugia? Catching Lugia? What about dreaming? While Xiaohao was still bragging, Xiaozhi and Xiaochun came back. Xiaozhi glanced at Xiaohao curiously, not knowing who this person was. Xiaochun ignored Xiaohao and gave the mobile phone to her father. Dad, we just rode Lugia together. I took a lot of pictures on the back of Lugia. This should be helpful for research. When riding Lugia, Xiaochun was also very considerate of her father. I took many photos on Lugia's back and gave them to my father for research. Even if she doesn't like Pokémon, she won't hate the work her father does. It's just that she doesn't like it. Besides, after talking to Xiaozhi, she has changed a lot about Pokémon. Although I am not yet in love with Pokémon, I am already disgusted with it. Hey, Xiaoharu, you rode Lugia. You're lying. I haven't even caught up with Lugia. How could you possibly catch up? Don't just take some photos to show off. Xiao Hao said with a suspicious look on his face. Yu Longdu. This man. Why does he look so flat? Close black lens bracket. Day. What an arrogant guy. What others can't do if he can't do it, close black lens bracket. Wallace. Maybe I'm a little preconceived, but I really hate this guy. Advertisement, Catalia. If we talk about preconceptions, then we all have preconceptions. Doesn't anyone hate this guy? Not only does he abandon his companions, but he is so arrogant, close black lens bracket. Many champions and elites even have names and surnames. Trainers all expressed their indifference to Xiaohao. Even a little annoying. Xiaohao, who was watching the video at home, had a dark face that turned red with anger. What a bullshit champion. What a bullshit elite, and Xiaozhi. I thought you were my idol before, now. The guy who speaks ill of people behind their backs is not worthy of me at all. You treat me as an idol. Xiao Hao had no intention of reflecting on himself, even if it was about what happened when he was a child. He also still thinks that it's Xiaochen who can't run fast enough. Who cares? This kind of person is hopeless. In the image, Xiaochen ignored Xiao Hao's sarcasm and just put the phone in front of Professor Sakuragi. Although Professor Sakuragi thinks it is unlikely, he does not believe that his daughter would lie to him. It's true, Professor Sakuragi. We did sit on Lugia's back. He still remembers me. Oh, it's that Poseidon Lugia. Under Xiaoji's reminder, Professor Oak also remembered the god of the sea who had a good relationship with Xiaoji. There is not only one Lugia in the world, but there is only one god of the sea. He was also involved in the incident that almost destroyed the world, although it was just soy sauce. Who are you? You look about the same age as me, and you're pretty good at bragging. You also said that Lugia remembers you. I'm afraid this isn't the first time you've met Lugia. Xiaoji slowly typed a question mark. This black man has been chattering since just now. Who is this person? Did he provoke him? Why target him like this? No, he is also targeting Xiaochen. Xiao Hao, don't talk nonsense. This is the person brought by Professor Oak, Xiaoji from Palatown, and the first-generation champion of Alola Alliance. Alola. Oh, I remembered it. It's that remote place in the countryside, right? I heard some time ago that he just established an alliance, held some conference, and even won the competition. The first-generation Alola champion is here. Xiao Hao also pays attention to current hot topics, so he naturally knows about the birth of the new alliance. But what he said didn't sound very pleasant. What is a backcountry? To put it nicely, it's called being ignorant of the ways of the world. To put it worst, it's just stupid. I heard that there isn't even an Elite Four there. How valuable can a champion in a place like that be? At best, it's similar to the top 8 of our alliance in Kanto. Hearing this, Professor Oak and Professor Sakuragi's expressions changed, and Xiaoji's expression became even more gloomy. Alola region. Professor Kukui Arm, he, who is gentle and cheerful by nature, had the idea of hitting someone for the first time. He can tolerate many things, but not including others insulting his hometown. Even if you insult him, you cannot insult Alola region. Even if you say 0.4 Alola is in a remote area, you actually say that the Alola champion is not as good as the top 8 in the Kanto region? Where did this talent come from? As the saying goes, disgusting people have their own tricks. Professor Kukui, calm down. Xiaoji will definitely not just sit idly by and ignore it. Lily gently patted Professor Kukui on the back and said softly. There is also some rage in the words. Even if she is as good-tempered as she is, she still can't bear others insulting her hometown. In the image, Xiaoji said to Xiao Hao with a rare gloomy expression. Please. Take back those words. Alola is neither a backwater nor a weakling. He is my other home. Ps 1. Please be careful not to substitute Kaharu from the anime here. Kaharu's childhood here has been changed by the author. She was attacked by Pokémon and had a weak character. It will inevitably make her dislike Pokémon even more. In the original book, Xiaoharu hates Pokémon because her classmates in school forced her father's position on her as a dream. In this book, in addition to classmates, there are also childhood nightmares that make things worse. Therefore, it is natural for Xiaochen to become more autistic and not like to talk to her parents. As for why you told Mr. G this, do you understand the value of the world's #1 friend-making master? In short, the changes in Xiaochen here are due to the author based on her character. The changes I made after being attacked by Pokémon in my childhood. Therefore, don't say that Xiaoharu in the original work is not like this. And Xiao Hao here, I made it more annoying than the original one, so I will reduce it as soon as possible. Ps 2. There are SE Chapter 157. Xiao Hao was hospitalized by electric shock, cross-era technology, Rotom mobile phone. Advertisement for Xiaoji, the beautiful memories in Alola region are unforgettable in his life. Professor Kukui, who has a normal father, a tapu who treats him well. Classmates who help each other, fun and wonderful adventures. And the people of Alola region are by no means weak. The unique Z move is enough to make the trainer out there eat a pot. Gladian can switch attributes Silvally, Professor Kukui's powerful roaring tiger, and more. They're definitely no worse than the elite champions outside. This person named Xiao Hao is undoubtedly insulting his other family. Xiaoji's strong aura made Xiao Hao take a step back involuntarily. Then he forcibly stabilized his expression and said with a sharp tongue. Isn't it true? Is Alola's alliance just a second-rate alliance that has just been established? Before this, it was just a tourist resort. Why should it be compared with Kanto and other established alliance? Seeing that Xiao Hao was still being stubborn, Xiaochen couldn't help but want to refute. After all, she watched the Alola exhibition match. The so-called patron saint of the island, Tapu. Not to mention elite, even alliance champions may not be comparable. With Professor with such strength, how can Alola region be a weak region? However, Xiaoji replied faster than Xiaochen. Since you said Alola is a weak region, do you want to have a Pokemon battle? If you lose, you have to admit that Alola is not weak. Trainer has trainer's solution. When you are in trouble, just have a fight. Xiaoji saw that the other party was almost the same age as him. I must be a trainer who has been traveling for a long time. To be able to say that, I must have seen too many powerful trainers while traveling. But I have never seen Alola's trainer before I can say that. Just fight him once and let him see the strength of the Alola champion. Maybe the other party won't think so anymore. What the kind-hearted Xiaozhi doesn't know is that sometimes the behavior between people and trash can't be compared. Facing Xiaozhi's invitation to fight, Xiaohao crossed his arms and said arrogantly, "My first Pokemon is to conquer Mew. Do you think I would choose a Usanjia just like you and go out? People like you who are satisfied with just picking one of the Yusan family are not worthy of fighting with me. Yulongdu. Wakao. Where is this kid? O3 I really can't help but beat him, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Professor Kukui. Please let me make the first move, close black lens bracket." Wallace. What a shameless statement. Conquering Mew is the Earl Dervish Pokemon. What did he use to conquer it? Did he use words? Close black lens bracket. Dianji. You said Xiaozhi conquered Mew with his bare hands. I think it is still possible. This guy can't run for 3 minutes. Is he going to deliver food? Close black lens bracket. Hala. Don't insult the food delivery guy. The food delivery guy can run faster than him. This kid looks to be 13 or 14 years old. He doesn't even have the Earl Dervish Pokemon, yet he still dares to insult Alola out there. What a disgusting person. Ah, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Lily. Support Xiaozhi's justice from heaven, close black lens bracket. Elite champions from all over the world, especially Alola's trainers, were speechless. I thought he was such a great trainer. I dare to say that the Alola champion is at most the quarterfinals of the Indigo Plateau Conference. The result is a noob who doesn't even have the Earl Dervish Pokemon and can only talk big words. How dare this person? Xiaozhi. Is this person a fool? I thought it was a powerful trainer, but turned out to be a guy who didn't even get the Earl Dervish Pokemon. And also said that the Earl Dervish Pokemon is going to conquer Mew? What are you trying to subdue? That mouth that only talks big words. And this guy even abandoned Xiaochen when he was a child. After thinking about this, Xiaozhi no longer wanted to argue with him. I always feel that if the argument continues, he himself will become a fool. A person who abandons his companions and talks big words has nothing to argue with. Forget it, Professor. Look at the photos Xiaochen took of Lugia. I forgot to take them. Wait a minute. Forget it. Although I don't have Earl Dervish Pokemon, my fighting skills are no worse than those of the Indigo Plateau Conference players. Without Earl Dervish Pokemon, my theoretical knowledge is really full. Lend me a Pokemon and I'll have a fight with you. The Pikachu on your shoulder looks great. Xiaozhi. When I type this question mark, it's not that I have a problem. I think there is something wrong with you. Are you okay? Can you even say this kind of thing? Pick up? Even Pikachu raised a question mark? Under normal circumstances, there is no problem in lending Pokemon. But when you fight Pokemon that you want to fight against, do you think your commanding becomes your role as a trainer? That's enough, Xiaohao. If you keep talking nonsense, you will not be welcome in this laboratory. Professor Sakuragi usually thinks this kid's carefree and cheerful personality may complement the introverted Xiaochen. Now it seems. Fortunately, Xiaochen was not affected by this guy. Otherwise, he would really regret it if he turned into such an uneducated person. Advertisement, what does it matter? Lend it to me. As he said this, Xiaohao reached out his hand to catch Pikachu. Xiaozhi's expression condensed. Pikachu, Thunderbolt. Pikachu. The golden spark spurted out, and the huge lightning hit Xiaohao, and then the electric flashlight flew out. A big hole was opened in the ceiling of Sakuragi Laboratory. Kaharu and Professor Sakuragi were immediately shocked. And Xiaozhi also had some hindsight. Excuse me, muscle reaction. Because there are always people peeking at my Pikachu, so when someone attacks my Pikachu, I will subconsciously let Pikachu use Thunderbolt ha. Professor Kaharu Sakuragi. What kind of things have you experienced that made you react like this? Xiaohao. He should be fine, right? Although he doesn't like Xiaohao's arrogance, Professor Sakuragi is still a little worried about Xiaohao's life. After all, if Xiaohao gets cold here, there's no way he can explain it. No problem. The Rockets trio often come back to me safe and sound after being knocked away like this. Just apologize to him next time we meet. Speaking of Professor Sakuragi, I made a hole in the newly built laboratory. I'm sorry. Yu Longdu. It was so funny that the Rockets trio expressed that they had something to say. Close black lens bracket. Steven. Haha, the Rocket trio have done another good thing. If they hadn't harassed Pikachu so often, Xiaozhi's defense against Pikachu would have formed a conditioned reflex. I'm afraid Xiaozhi won't let Pikachu use Thunderbolt, close black lens bracket. Lorelei. It's just that Xiaozhi can bear it. If it were me, I would have asked Lapras to freeze this guy into ice cubes. Close black lens bracket. Day. But being hit by Thunderbolt and knocked away, the guy named Xiaohao should be seriously injured, right? Dianji. Indeed, Xiaozhi actually ignored that the physiques of the Rockets trio are also quite unusual. A normal person would have to be hospitalized after being electrocuted and beaten like this. Should he be hospitalized? People in the Pokemon world are generally in good health. But people with the physiques of Xiaozhi and the Rockets trio are really few and far between. So, Xiaozhi used the physique of the Rockets trio to evaluate Xiao Hao. I can only say that it was a bit of a miscalculation. Near Indigo Plateau Conference, the Rockets trio were wearing store uniforms. Yes, they opened a store near the Indigo Plateau Conference. The little devil actually compares us with that black-skinned brat, meow. Are you kidding? Our Rockets' physiques are unparalleled. How can that black-skinned kid compare to us? Jessie immediately retorted. It's not like they are bragging that they would be beaten away so many times if they were replaced by normal people. The grass on the grave is already 3 feet tall. That's why the Rockets trio can still be alive and kicking. Speaking of which, weren't we originally scheduled to go to Sucker Punch's Pikachu today? Why are we still selling goods here? Idiot. Now is a good time to make money. Pikachu is right next to the little devil and he won't run away, but there are not many opportunities to make money. Jessie scolded James. They were originally scheduled to capture Pikachu today. But I didn't see the little ghost head all morning. Then they started selling some souvenirs in their disguised shop, and the results were surprisingly successful. This led to, they suddenly forgot about their plan to capture Pikachu. But, just like Jessie said, Pikachu won't run there. But the opportunity to make money is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For the 3 scared guys, this matter even temporarily outweighed the capture of Pikachu. They actually forget that they are no longer short of money now. Because their betting points are among the best in the world. You can even exchange it for many things that money can't buy. Image 1. The disgusting Xiao Hao was beaten away, even though he paid the price of having a hole in laboratory sky. But I have to say, the price is worth it. Without the annoying guy, Professor Sakuragi can finally take a good look at the photos. It turned out to be a photo taken from Lugia's back. This tail fin, these feathers, these wings. Oh, that's great, Xiaochan, you did a great job. Professor Sakuragi looked very excited at this time. The legendary Pokémon appears very rarely, let alone taking some photos at such a close range. Kaharu, who was wildly praised by Professor Sakuragi, did not take all the credit to himself. This is all Xiaozhi's credit. If Xiaozhi hadn't known Lugia, I wouldn't have had the chance to sit on Lugia's back. Then Kaharu told Professor Sakuragi the complete story. After hearing Xiaozhi command Lugia to rescue Xiaochan, Professor Sakuragi finally believed that Xiaozhi and Lugia were old acquaintances, and not Normal's old acquaintances. Xiaozhi, are you willing to become a special researcher in our laboratory? Special researcher? Xiaozhi has never heard of this word. Our laboratory will often collect some information about Pokémon, and then you will go out to investigate, although Alola Champion is a bit overkill for doing this. It's so fun, I have to do it, I have to do it. Xiaozhi, who is nearly 15 years old, still has the character of a child. It would be better to say, you are still a child at the age of 15. In this way, Xiaozhi successfully became a special researcher at Sakuragi Laboratory and the only special researcher. Xiaochan looked at the excited Xiaozhi, and something seemed to be sprouting in her heart. Advertisement. Because of the distance, Xiaozhi temporarily lived in Laboratory's dormitory. Delia kept Mr. Mime because she was worried about Xiaozhi. It just so happens that there are bunk beds here, so Mr. Mime and Xiaozhi can sleep on one bed each. In addition, Professor Sakuragi told Xiaozhi in the evening that Xiao Hao was hospitalized. This shocked Xiaozhi. It didn't make sense. Team Rocket had eaten Thunderbolt so many times and it was fine. Why did Xiao Hao end up in the hospital after just one meal? However, the responsibility for Xiao Hao's hospitalization does not fall on Xiaozhi. Professor Oak came forward to clarify, it's Xiao Hao who wants to touch Xiaozhi's Pokémon without permission. Triggering the automatic defense of Xiaozhi Pokémon has nothing to do with Xiaozhi. He also settled Xiao Hao's medical expenses and gave him some compensation. As for the troubles in his family, Professor Oak is very protective. Of course, Xiao Hao, who was still unconscious in the hospital bed, had no idea about this. This guy probably will be a little cleaner during this time. Real-world viewers applauded this. Well done, Pikachu. He should be hospitalized and shut up. This is what happens to teacher who takes advantage of you without permission. Haha, you still want to command Pikachu? Apart from Xiaozhi, only the mistress can command Pikachu. There's something wrong with you upstairs. I think the person upstairs is right. The forum is gradually becoming crooked. In short, without Xiao Hao, the movie-watching experience is obviously much better. Xiaozhi also began to carry out his mission as a special researcher. 797 images. Xiaozhi has also lived in Vermilion City for several days. I have become quite familiar with Xiaochan. Usually when Xiaochan goes to school, Xiaozhi walks around. Xiaochan and Xiaochan walked around together after school. This makes Professor Sakuragi very confused. Why is his good girl who usually goes home as soon as school comes home late lately? During this period, Xiaozhi even took Xiaochan to a neighboring city, Nibi City. It doesn't even take an hour by car. This reminded Xiaozhi of his first trip. It took more than 10 days to get from Cerulean City to Vermilion City. Not having to travel on foot saves a lot of time. In Nibi City, Xiaozhi took Xiaochen to get to know Xiaoging. What makes Xiaoging want to cry in the real world is, even after several years, he is still single, but he has developed a strong body of muscles. In the video, he is also a man with 8-pack abs. After meeting Xiaoging, a fierce battle was inevitable. Pikachu, who was already at the peak of rank 5, easily took down Xiaoging's Steelix. But it can also be seen that Xiaoging's level has also improved dramatically. At least it's quasi-elite level. This is really rookie trainer's nightmare gym. Originally, Xiaozhi wanted to take Xiaochen to meet Misty from Cerulean City. But a mission suddenly came from the laboratory. It is said that there will be a large number of Ivysaur appearing in the city center. So please ask Xiaozhi to investigate and find out what happened. For this reason, Professor Sakuragi gave Xiaozhi a mobile phone and a Rotom. In full view of the public, Rotom got into the mobile phone and formed the mobile phone Rotom Pokédex. In this way, the mobile phone becomes a Pokédex that can not only make calls, but also check the status of Pokémon. Asterisk asterisk asterisk, Professor Oak. What can Rotom get into a mobile phone and form a Pokédex? Professor Kukui. Although I have had such an idea, I never thought that it would really succeed in the future. Close black lens bracket. Professor Sakuragi. This is a great discovery. I didn't expect that Rotom, which assists various household appliances to obtain evolved forms, can also transform into Pokédex forms. Close black lens bracket. Professor Baratano. This is truly an incredible discovery. Rotom Pokédex has not yet been born in today's era. Everyone knows that Rotom can assist home appliances to transform into various forms. For example, water-based washing machine Rotom, fire-based microwave oven Rotom, etc. But these Rotoms are also used for combat. Kukui also had an idea to combine Rotom and Pokédex. But this idea has not yet been put into practice. Unexpectedly, it has been invented in the image. Judging from the skillful appearance, it is obviously a relatively mature technology. In this case, maybe the Rotom Pokédex can be developed in advance in this era. Chapter 158. Professor Sakuragi. I agree to the marriage between Xiaozhi and Xiaochen. Advertisement. The Rotom Pokédex matter will be studied carefully after the inventory is completed. Now in the image, after Xiaozhi got the Rotom smartphone, he started to investigate inside the city. And Xiaochen also went there with Xiaozhi. Today is a school holiday. After going through some twists and turns, the two finally understood the reason why Ivysaur wanted to get together. They're going to evolve. Many Ivysaur gathered at the new Pokemon gym under construction in Vermilion City, and climbed to the roof to soak up the sunshine. Prepare for future evolution. Seeing so many Ivysaurs about to evolve, Xiaozhi couldn't help but think of what happened back then. Back then, I also saw many Ivysaurs evolving together during my travels. The place we went to was a place called the Incredible Garden. There, my Bulbasaur was supposed to evolve, but he resisted evolution. He believes that even without evolving, he can still have great power, so until now, he still looks like Bulbasaur. Xiaochen was a little surprised when he heard this. Doesn't Pokemon become stronger after evolving? If it doesn't evolve, is it really possible? It doesn't matter. I respect the wishes of my Pokemon. It's not just Bulbasaur. There are many of my friends who don't want to evolve. And Bulbasaur is very strong. Now he manages Professor Oak's backyard in an orderly manner. Even Charizard has to look at his expression in the backyard. Professor Oak backyard. When Bulbasaur heard Xiaozhi's words in the video, little stars twinkled in his eyes. It turns out that he will be so strong in the future. Even the big brother, Charizard, listens to him in the backyard. This also solidifies his idea of not evolving. Sure enough, even if you don't evolve, you can still get powerful power. What's so good about evolution? You'll be ugly when you grow up. But then again, managing the backyard. Will he be responsible for helping Xiaozhi take care of the logistics in the future? It feels and looks good. Asterisk 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 asterisk. In image, Xiaozhi is telling Xiaochen about his previous travel experiences. After all, he is someone who has experienced 7 regions. Xiaozhi's experience is probably unparalleled by anyone in the world. Suddenly, many Ivysaurs began to glow. This is a sign of preparation for evolution. Just when Xiaozhi was watching the evolution of Ivysaur with great interest, a big net captured all the Ivysaur. Xiaozhi looked up to the sky. Sure enough, it was the familiar hot air balloon again. Who did this? Kaharu said angrily to the hot air balloon sky. Ivysaur is about to evolve. Who suddenly cast the net? Since you asked the question sincerely, then we will tell you with great mercy. A very classic line came out, and the Rockets trio, who had not been seen for a long time, appeared in front of Xiaozhi. We meet again, little ghost head. You are really haunted. Xiaozhi always feels that something is missing recently. It turns out that the trio who have been following him have disappeared. Now I see them again. While Rage and the others were randomly catching Pokemon, they also felt that familiar smell coming back. Are you an acquaintance of Xiaozhi? Yes, I'm an old acquaintance. I'm Pikachu's acquaintance who wants to catch me all day long. Pikachu uses Iron Tail. Pick up. Pikachu jumped into the air with a vigorous step, and the tail behind his back shone with metallic luster. He cut open the huge catching net fiercely. All Ivysaur were rescued safely. Seeing Ivysaur being rescued, Team Rocket and others landed angrily. And they took out their secret weapon this time, the Gashapon machine. It is said that this is the latest prop invented by Team Rocket. You can take out powerful Pokémon from it. The audience laughed at this. What powerful Pokémon can the Team Rocket trio come up with? The Pokémon they take out every time are basically fish level. Oh no, they're a bit fishier than fish. However, the next scene shocked the audience. I saw Team Rocket twisting out a Gyarados and Tyranitar from the Gashapon machine. One is a Pokémon that leaps over the Dragon's Gate, and the other is a late-blooming quasi-god. This time the Rocket's plan is really heavy. However, these two Pokémon are still not enough in front of the champion Pikachu. After a while, he was beaten with many scars. The dazzling battle dazzled Xiaozhi on the side. Watching it on TV and watching it live are completely different things. Watching Pikachu's powerful, handsome and cute figure live, I was attracted immediately. As this, Xiaozhi's Pikachu. Pikachu who breaks common sense, who defeats gods, Pikachu. However, just as Pikachu was about to finish off Gyarados and Fangyuan, Team Rocket comes up with a plan and sends two Pokémon to attack the Ivysaurs. There was no way to dodge the huge number of Ivysaur, and Pikachu sacrificed his life to block it. Blocked Aqua Tail and Stone Edge. Although he has not lost his fighting ability, he is still scarred. Advertisement, Yu Longdu. Now he looks a bit like a villain. Is Team Rocket no longer a comedy supporter on Xiaozhi's 8 Masters journey? Close black lens bracket. Wallace. As Xiaozhi grows, the Rocket's trio also grows, close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi. What a pity, if they were fighting normally, Pikachu would have already defeated them 2-1, close black lens bracket. Dandy. Is this the 5th turn Pikachu? After eating Stone Edge and Aqua Tail, two powerful moves of this type, I can still resist it. I'm looking forward to Xiaozhi competing with my 8 Masters more and more, close black lens bracket. Emperor Dan never doubted whether Xiaozhi would be able to join the 8th Master. In the last period of Alola, Xiaozhi was already surpassing some champions. If you want to enter the 8th Master, you are basically a sure shot. As for whether you will confront him, haven't there been any previews before I saw it? Sceptile blasts him against the ape. It will definitely be an exciting game. Norman. Isn't this the time to talk about this? Xiaozhi seems to be in crisis. Pikachu was seriously injured, and all the Pokémon on Xiaozhi were placed in Professor Oak's laboratory. The Pokémon captured by Alola were placed with Professor Kukui. There's simply no other Pokémon that can handle it. Seeing that Team Rocket is about to give Pikachu the final blow, the Ivysaurs attack at this critical moment. All members, Ivysaur, used Sunfire. The huge golden beam hit Tyranitar and Gyarados hard. But this time, the two Pokémon from Team Rocket are indeed different. Hit by so many suns and flames, not to mention that there is no Gyarados with mutually beneficial attributes. Even Tyranitar, who was doubly restrained by the sun's flames, did not fall. In addition to the fact that the two Pokémon of Team Rocket are quite high level. Those Ivysaurs are a bit weak. Seeing this, Jesse and Jane's Rage ordered the two Pokémon to use the Destruction Death Ray to fight back. The terrifying golden light condensed in the mouths of the two Pokémon. Xiaozhi was shivering at the side. The attack of the two Pokémon triggered her memory of being attacked by Pokémon and being left behind by Xiao Hao. Now Xiaozhi's Pikachu is also seriously injured. Will he be like Xiao Hao and run away directly? However, the next scene shocked Xiaozhi for 10 years. I saw Xiaozhi walking in front of Ivysaur with a solemn expression and his hands spread out. I won't let you hurt them. Pick up. The scarred Pikachu also stood up beside Xiaozhi, showing no intention of giving in. Open black lens bracket Bruno. I'll go. Let's make a classic remake. Close black lens bracket. Brandon. You are indeed a young boy from Xiaozhi. I don't know how many times I have seen this way of protecting Pokémon with open hands. Sabrina. Xiaozhi is still the same Xiaozhi. Close black lens bracket open black lens bracket Erica. He has not changed at all because he has grown up. Close black lens bracket. Blaine. Ha ha ha, as a young man grows up, he never forgets his original intention. Well done. Close black lens bracket. This moment is exactly like that moment. Xiaozhi has stood in front of Pokémon countless times. He has used his body to protect Pokémon countless times. This sentiment will definitely be responded to by the Pokémon. In the image, Xiaozhi looked at Xiaozhi standing in front of Ivysaur. There was an inexplicable starlight in his eyes. Even in such a dangerous moment, Xiaozhi did not escape. He even stood in front of the Ivysaurs with his flesh and blood body. Even if Pikachu is seriously injured, he still works with Xiaozhi to protect the weak Pokémon. This is Xiaozhi. This is Pikachu. I'm so stupid for comparing you with Xiao Hao. Kaharu murmured to himself. There is absolutely no comparison between these two people. At first, she thought Xiaozhi and Xiaohao had similar personalities.
How are these similar? These are completely opposite personalities.
A person who only thinks about himself, only to achieve his own goals, and only cares about himself. The other one is protective of them regardless of his own life, always thinking of others. These two people are two extremes. Looking at this scene, Xiaochun's fear of Pokémon began to subside. Only now did Xiaoharu realize that what he hated wasn't the Pokémon, but the sinister human heart, the despair of being abandoned by peers, the future determined by classmates. That's what she hates. Actually, she has always liked Pokémon.
She took Xiaohao to the camping trip when she was a child.
The knot accumulated in my heart has only now begun to untie quietly.
And the initiator of all this was the boy who stood in front of Pokémon.
It was Xiaozhi who told her that Pokémon are all friendly and lovely creatures. It was also Xiaozhi who told him, when you encounter danger, even if you have nothing, you can still stand up to protect others. Pikachu, Thunderbolt, Pikachu. The scarred Pikachu's body erupted with an extremely terrifying golden spark. Huge voltage swept across the entire venue. Gyarados and Tyranitar's golden beam of destruction and Pikachu's golden light of lightning were tackled together. Advertisement: the strong force set off a huge whirlwind. The destructive beam of light slowly suppressed the golden electric light. However, with Xiaozhi's roar, Pikachu burst out with powerful power for the second time. Spark suddenly doubled in size and directly pushed back the two destructive and death rays. Then send Team Rocket and others to the sky, even if you get the latest equipment. The Rockets trio is still not Xiaozhi Pikachu's rival. And, this time they helped again a big favor. Xiaochun finally understood what Xiaozhi said about the conditioned reflex. No wonder he was indifferent after seeing Xiaohao flying into the sky. I originally thought that Xiaozhi hated Xiaohao so he didn't care. It turns out that I am already used to beating others away. After Team Rocket flew into the sky, the Ivysaurs continued to evolve. Dozens of Ivysaur evolved into Venusaur at the same time, and some Bulbasaur evolved into Ivysaur. This scene is very similar to the one Xiaozhi saw in the Incredible Garden. But there's neither a leader, Venusaur, nor a huge story. Regarding the mystery of this evolution, Xiaozhi and Xiaochun still don't know what it is. But, as long as the result is good, Xiaochun and Xiaozhi returned to the laboratory after understanding the mystery of Ivysaur's appearance together. Professor Sakuragi was very satisfied with Xiaozhi's filming of Ivysaur's evolution, and encouraged Xiaozhi to keep up the good work. At this time, Xiaochun on the side suddenly said, "Dad, if there is a special mission in the future, Xiaozhi and I will go together." "Huh? Xiaochun, you're not." Professor Sakuragi was very surprised by Koharu's words. Why did Xiaochun change her gender after going out with Xiaozhi today? His daughter is very indifferent to Pokemon other than calling Pa. Because Xiaozhi showed me a lot of good things today. So, I also want to know more about Pokemon. After all, I am Professor's daughter. Xiaochun frankly revealed the identity that she least wanted to face before. She decided she wanted to be just like Xiaozhi. When you encounter difficulties, you must face them bravely. Avoiding them will be of no use. Therefore, she calmly faced her identity as Professor's daughter. And she also wants to start learning about Pokemon again. Oh, is it Ivysaur's evolution that has rekindled your interest in Pokemon? Okay. I will notify you when Xiaozhi goes on a mission in the future, and I will take care of it during the school holidays. Professor Sakuragi was overjoyed. I thought Koharu decided to get in touch with Pokemon again because she saw Ivysaur evolve. Xiaochun did not refute this, he just showed a bright and meaningful smile. That's great, Xiaoharu. We will be partners from now on. You Longdu. I burst into tears. I thought the Rockets had grown up, but I didn't expect that they would still assist as always. Close black lens bracket. Sabrina. It can be seen that the knot in Stephanie's heart, named Xiaochun, is relieved. It is probably Xiaozhi's performance of protecting Pokemon without hesitation that inspired her. Close black lens bracket. Sabrina naturally understands this power of infecting people's hearts.
Because he was also helped by Xiaozhi, he came over from that painful memory.
Zhao is stunned. Open black lens bracket Wallace. When it comes to assists, you still have to look at the Rockets. What is a senior assist master? Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Haha, I can't do bad things as always. It's hard, the Rockets who are doing business have a hard fist. But, there is no way to refute it, because everything they say is true. Professor Sakuragi. Thank you Team Rocket. Thank you Xiaozhi. My good daughter has returned to her original self.
Professor Sakuragi. I really want to cry. My daughter used to like Pokemon very much, but she has changed since she came back from camping. As a father, I didn't realize it.
Coupled with the gossip from the classmates around her, made her no longer like Pokemon at all. Close black lens bracket. Professor Sakuragi. Now she is finally back to normal, although it is only in the image. I believe that Koharu in the real world will also make changes, the marriage between Koharu and Xiaozhi. I agreed. Close black lens bracket open black lens bracket Xiaoharu. Close black lens bracket Xiaochun, who was at school, clenched her fists shyly. What nonsense is her shameless father talking about? You know, she is watching videos in Barrage with a group of classmates right now. Even though he is only a teenager, but the children here are much more precocious. About falling in love. I already knew it. Now the classmates around her are looking at her with ambiguous eyes.
If this continues, I can no longer be classmates.
Although, Xiaozhi's actions in the video made her heartbeat for a moment. It really only lasts for a moment, in the image. Xiaochen and Xiaozhi officially became partners, and Xiaochen also became the assistant of laboratory. When he was not on missions, Xiaozhi took Xiaochen around to play. Going to meet his old friends in Kanto, Richie, Steve Ma, Sabrina and Misty. When Xiaozhi introduced Xiaochen to Misty, something was obviously wrong in Misty's eyes. Misty in the video has also matured a lot. The most obvious thing is that the body has become mature. Wearing a gym swimsuit, coupled with her pretty face, it looks particularly attractive. Chapter 159. Show mercy to Xiaozhi. Why is your old lover everywhere? Advertisement. After growing up, Misty stunned the audience. Who would have thought that that little girl would grow up to be so attractive? But the people who were stunned did not include Mr. Gang and Xiaozhi.
For Master Gang, anyone under the age of 18 is not within his scope of interest.
And Xiaozhi understands everything. The same is true for Xiaozhi. Misty seems to have not changed. She was still the traveling companion in his memory. In the image, Xiaozhi and Misty chatted for a while and learned from Misty. She is already training a new gym leader. Once Breeder gets up, the cerulean gym can be handed over to her to take over. And she can live in retirement at 15. Reasonable. Let's travel together then. Faced with Xiaozhi's invitation, Xiaolei reluctantly agreed. She has been waiting for this sentence for a long time. Under Misty's slightly envious eyes, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen left the cerulean gym. On the way, Xiaochen asked Xiaozhi curiously what the relationship between Misty and him was. He is a traveling companion. He has been with me since I started traveling. He is a very close companion. I already knew this from Xiaogang. I mean, apart from traveling companions, isn't there any other relationship? What else can we do besides being partners? Rival? Excuse me, she seems to understand where Xiaozhi is lacking. That look in Stephanie's eyes just now, if you pay a little attention, you'll know what's going on. When you invite others to travel, their eyes will overflow with joy. What a dull wooden person. Open black lens bracket Wallace. As expected of you Xiaozhi, close black lens bracket. Catalia. After so many years, my emotional intelligence in love is still 0. Open black lens bracket Erica. Xiaozhi is too confused, close black lens bracket open black lens bracket Diantha. Because of this, he is Xiaozhi, close black lens bracket. Wickstrom. How come this week, Xiaozhi has been equated with love insulator in your heart? Sabrina. Xiaozhi, idiot. Close black lens bracket. Everyone was amused by Xiaozhi's wooden performance. Even after so many years, the championship has been won. He is still so slow about love, it seems. Xiaozhi might really have to spend his whole life with Pokémon. Professor Oak's laboratory backyard. Misty's face is already a little rosy. Stephanie is always relatively precocious. She shows jealousy and joy on the screen. She saw it all, but Xiaozhi didn't seem to notice anything. Whether it's in the image or in reality, this made Misty angry and funny. If only this guy would wake up early. The first heroine must be her, right? At this time, Serena, Lily, Dawn, Mei, Shui Lian, and others are on their way here with knives in hand. JPG. In the image, after saying goodbye to Misty, Xiaozhi continued his daily life. Occasionally I go home to visit, and occasionally I play with Pokémon. In order to prevent the previous situation where Pikachu was seriously injured and no Pokémon was available, Xiaozhi brought 2 more Pokémon with him this time. In case. Soon, the next mission will arrive. According to Professor Sakuragi, the phenomenon of Dynamaxing occurs frequently in the wilds of the Galar region. Ask Xiaozhi to go over and investigate. Naturally, Xiaozhi readily agreed to this. He had not been to the Galar region yet. What is Gigantamax? I don't even understand. Although this is a system that has appeared for a long time, it is only limited to the Galar region. Just like the Z move that only appears in the Alola region. It is a single region limited system. However, the Z moves in Alola region can be used in other regions. The Dynamax of the Galar region can only be used in Galar. After getting the tickets for the train to Galar with Professor Sakuragi, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen embarked on the journey. After going through some twists and turns, the two finally arrived in the Galar region. As a result, when I first came to the Galar region, I happened to encounter the so-called Dynamax phenomenon. Snorlaxes. Gigantamax. Unlike ordinary Gigantamax, Gigantamax will not only make your body larger. It will also change its appearance. After Snorlax becomes Gigantamax, a tree with a huge fruit will grow from his belly. However, the problem now is that after Snorlax became Gigantamax, he blocked the train on the road. We have to find a way to move Snorlax away. Although Snorlax is asleep, he is still very sensitive to food. So, just pick the fruit from the tree and let it go. Advertisement just let Snorlax move. Xiaozhi first asked Pikachu to use Iron Tail to chop off the fruit. However, the fruit was still too huge, and Xiaozhi, Xiaochen, and Pikachu were unable to move in front of Snorlax. Finally, Xiaozhi had a flash of inspiration and released the Heracross he was carrying. Use the Megahorn to blow the fruit straight into Snorlax's sky. And let Charizard catch up in the alley-oop and use Dragon Tail to get some distance. Successfully lured Snorlax away, the train passed without incident.
Fortunately, I brought Charizard and Heracross with me this time, otherwise this situation would be quite troublesome.
In the end, I still don't know the reason why Snorlax became extremely giant. The purpose of their visit this time was to explore the reason why the roadside Pokémon became extremely giant. Even though I saw Snorlax becoming Gigantamax with my own eyes. But they still don't know the reason why Snorlax became Gigantamax. No problem, Xiaoharu, you just took a video when Snorlax went to Dynamax, right? Just give the video to Professor and let him help analyze it.
2. Naturally, it is impossible to go back just like this when you come to Galar. Xiaozhi and Xiaochun spent 2 days in Galar, during which Xiaozhi saw many Pokémon that he had never seen before.
And the characteristic of the Galar region, Gigantamax. After some fun, Xiaozhi and Xiaochun returned to the laboratory and handed the image to Professor. However, even Professor Sakuragi couldn't analyze anything from this image. This mission had no choice but to be given up. Not long after, Xiaozhi took Xiaochun to the Hoenn region. The reason this time is not a mission, but a battle. The battle location is the battle frontier in the Hoenn region. After the Kanto region, the remaining regions also began to build battle frontier. This time I am challenging the Flute Cup of Hoenn battle frontier. Xiaochun naturally has no interest in fighting, but Xiaozhi signed up for Xiaochun without permission. Unfortunately, Xiaochun had no choice but to come to the Hoenn region. Don't be so unhappy, I'll take you to meet acquaintances in the Hoenn region after the battle. Is there one in the Hoenn region too? Yes, she is still the daughter of the gym trainer? St. Yulongdu. Xiaochun keenly discovered that something was wrong, close black lens bracket. Wallace. This should be the daughter of Norman's owner, May, right? Open black lens bracket Cynthia. Haha, Xiaozhi is really merciful, there are Stephanies everywhere to meet, close black lens bracket. Norman. When you come to Hoenn region, is the first thing you think of is looking for my daughter? Yes, yes. Brandon. Xiaozhi obviously went to Battle Frontier for the first time, so don't take advantage of yourself, close black lens bracket. Yahida. It seems that my dream will come true in the future, Battle Frontier has already reached the Hoenn region, close black lens bracket. So far, Battle Frontier is only available in Kanto region. And the reputation of Battle Frontier is not well known. But in the future in the image, even the Hoenn region has a Battle Frontier. Moreover, coupled with the promotion of images, presumably in the real world, the expansion of Battle Frontier will be smoother. In the image, registration was already an established fact, so Xiaochun reluctantly agreed to play with Xiaozhi. However, Xiaochun only had one Pokémon called, and he has never participated in a battle. The Flute Cup is a 2 single player, with 2 Pokémon rotating. Kaharu doesn't have enough Pokémon. In response, Xiaozhi generously lent his Pokémon to Xiaochun. Xiaochun thought for a while and asked for Xiaozhi's Heracross. Because she always felt that Charizard's words were too cruel and she might not be able to command him. Still Heracross looks milder. Xiaozhi suggested that Xiaochun could use the Pokédex to check Heracross's skills. After getting a little familiar with it, I started to enter the Battle Frontier to participate in the competition. The Flute Cup competition format starts directly from the quarterfinals. Just win 2 games to advance to the finals. Is there no one coming to this competition? Why are there only 8 people playing? Does it depend on the speed of registration? There is no threshold at all. No matter how you think about it, there are only 8 people. It is probably based on the speed of registration. Of the 2 Pokémon Xiaozhi chose, one was naturally Pikachu, but the other was not Charizard. But Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime is the Pokémon that Delia's mother left to take care of Xiaozhi. He is usually capable of washing and cooking, and the audience is wondering whether Mr. Mime can fight. However, Mr. Mime's powerful performance surprised everyone.
1 hand health exercises, dodge rate increased by 100%.
Open the wall with one hand, the defense is extremely powerful.
There is Kichequan nearby, and Psychic far away. Directly helped Xiaozhi win the first round.
Open black lens bracket Delia. Hey, is Mr. Mime that strong? Close black lens bracket. Well, where did Mr. Mime conquer this guy? Look at this power. It feels like he won't lose to Elite. Has Mr. Mime gone through any rigorous training? Close black lens bracket. Delia. No, Mr. Mime has been doing housework and cooking at home. He is a very capable child. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Will. Close black lens bracket. It's so shocking. Doing laundry and cooking becomes an elite? Lily Yuan became a popular member. Mr. Mime only appeared once in the original work. I won't deprive him of his role here, but the time he appeared was really outrageous. He defeated the Super Power King without any damage. He was very good at opening walls and dodging attacks. He was really awesome. In the image, after Xiaozhi won the first battle, Xiaochun's first battle was a bit difficult. Advertisement. The caller Wang quickly lost under her clumsy command. 0. Please give me flowers, just when rival felt that the person participating in the competition was a rookie and didn't need to pay attention at all. Here comes Heracross. Although Kaharu's command is weak, but Heracross is strong. The speed and power completely crushed rival, a bunch. 2 wins. After winning rival, Xiaochun was in disbelief. Is this a win? She didn't do anything during the whole process. It was basically Heracross fighting on her own. Xiaochun knew that this had nothing to do with her and was all the result of Heracross. It's just that. The feeling of victory made her like Pokemon battles more or less.
In the next semi-finals, Xiaozhi played against Laverage Town's Baoji.
Rival is the favorite to win the championship and easily defeated rival in the first round. However, what he met was Alola's first-generation champion Xiaozhi. Super King was directly blocked by Mr. Mime. Mightyena is hung up and hammered by Pikachu.
The favorites lost miserably. At this time, the audience and the commentators didn't even recognize Xiaozhi as the first-generation champion of Alola. It seems that Alola's reputation is indeed too small.
Following Xiaozhi's victory, Xiaochun also successfully advanced to the semifinals. The incoming calls have not been restored yet, but this does not affect Heracross 1 or 2 at all. Then Kaharu abstained from the final. The reason is very simple. You let Xiaozhi's Pokemon fight against Xiaozhi. Isn't this a joke? And even if there was a fight, Xiaochun didn't think he had the slightest chance of winning. She still has some self-awareness. As a fledgling, she competed with the champion trainer on her commanding ability. She didn't wake up, did she? She is not that idiot Xiao Hao. In this way, Xiaozhi successfully won the Flute Cup Championship. He got 5 flute of different colors. What's the use of flute? Maybe it's beautiful. Drake. I didn't expect that after Xiaozhi won the Alola Championship, he would also win the rest of the competition. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Wallace. That beautiful flute, at first glance, it is what my Sutopolis gym provides. Close black lens bracket. Steven. Indeed, only your Sutopolis gym can provide prizes that are of no use except to look good. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Wallace. Close black lens bracket. I haven't seen you for a few days, and you've become so naughty. Believe it or not, labor and management have resigned. Whoever likes to be the champion will be the one. How dare you underestimate the prizes from our gym? Wallace. You don't think your collection of broken stones is great, do you? Close black lens bracket. X. Ready for a fight, right? Go back and Hoenn will let you know who is the boss. In the image, after participating in the Flute Cup, Xiaozhi took Xiaochun to the Petalburg gym to catch up with Mei. Unfortunately, after arriving at the Petalburg gym, I learned that Mei was traveling. Now should be competing in the Triple Crown Satellite in Kalos region. That competition is a super cute Mew festival held exclusively for girls. It is similar to the contest competition, except that this competition is only limited to women. After Mei heard about it, she went with Xiao Sheng. Xiao Sheng has now reached the age of 10 and has officially become a 10 trainer. Seemingly influenced by Xiaozhi, the Earl Dervish Pokemon chose Trico. Xiaozhi naturally knows a lot about the Triple Crown Satellite Tournament. After all, that was the competition Serena participated in when he and Serena were traveling together. I just didn't expect Mei to run over too, have no idea. Unfortunately, I didn't see Mei. If Mr. Norman talks to Mei on the phone, please tell her and I'll come see her next time. Good. After bidding farewell to Norman, Xiaozhi and Xiaochun are also preparing to go back. Originally, it was a last-minute decision to come to Hoenn. I didn't know if Professor would give me another assignment. On the way back, Xiaochun was also very curious about the Triple Crown Satellite Tournament. Xiaozhi thought of his former female companions, Dawn, Mei, Serena. They are all trainers who like exhibition games. Maybe contest competition and Triple Crown Satellite competition are also suitable for Kaharu? So Xiaozhi began to explain to Xiaochun about the Triple Crown Satellite Tournament and the contest competition. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Wallace. Judging from Xiaochun's expression, he is very interested in the contest and the Triple Crown Satellite Tournament. Diantha. Actually, the contest competition and the Triple Crown Satellite competition are quite suitable for a Stephanie like Xiaochun. Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Yes, there are still relatively few girls aiming for the championship or other goals, and more of them like competitions such as contest competitions. Close black lens bracket. Arya. The Triple Crown Satellite game is also very good. Are you watching Xiaoharu? I think that kind of game is quite suitable for you. After all, you are so cute and don't like fighting very much, then. This kind of performance competition between people and Pokemon is perfect. Arya, the winner of the Triple Crown Satellite Tournament, has been the champion for many times in a row. She really felt that Xiaochun was actually quite suitable for such a competition. After getting rid of the knot in her heart, Xiaochun actually still doesn't like fighting very much. But when she heard about the Triple Crown satellite tournament in the contest, her eyes clearly lit up. Xiaoharu. Thank you, Miss Arya, I will consider it. Close black lens bracket. Xiaochen spent more than 10 seconds checking Arya's news. The overwhelming praise shocked her. Chapter 160. A cry calls back Lapras, Xiaoji's waveguide power. Advertisement: if you don't check it, you won't know. If you check it, you will be shocked. It turns out that Arya is a mega celebrity.
Xiaochun quickly replied to Arya and had an idea in her mind. The contest, the Triple Crown satellite tournament, how about, try it out sometime.
Image 1. After learning the details of the contest in the Triple Crown satellite tournament,
Xiaochun's eyes showed longing, but she was also a little timid.
That kind of performance in front of everyone is very stressful on the heart. At least now, she doesn't dare to take that step. Xiaoji said it didn't matter, the previous May Dawn and Serena were the same. Everyone is slowly coming from a newbie. Don't worry, I, a senior trainer, will be with you, it'll be no problem. Pikachu, seeing Xiaoji patting his chest confidently, and Pikachu next to him doing the same action. Xiaochen couldn't help laughing. Xiaoji and Pikachu, you really look alike. Of course, Pikachu has been with me since I started traveling.
Soon, the two returned to Sakuragi Laboratory. After learning that Kaharu actually participated in the battle, Professor Sakuragi grinned from ear to ear.
My daughter who once hated Pokémon is now willing to participate in battles. Sure enough, just as his teacher Professor Oak said. Xiaoji is a miracle normal boy. His cheerful personality affects everything around him. His daughter is becoming more and more like the Pokémon she used to love. In the following time, Xiaoji and Xiaochen wandered around Kanto every day.
Until a Piplup arrives. That Piplup actually swam from Shifang City in Sinnoh region.
Professor entrusts Xiaoji and Xiaochen to send Piplup back. So Xiaoji embarked on the road to Sinnoh. Naturally, there are acquaintances in Xiaoji, Sinnoh region. Sinnoh region. Mr. Day, Mr. Denji, Miss Cynthia, Shinji, they are all people I met in the Sinnoh region. Shinji is both my strong enemy and my friend. And more. The person I have the best relationship with in the Sinnoh region is of course Dawn. She has been traveling in the Sinnoh region with me in Xiaogang for more than half a year, and she also has a Piplup. How interesting, haha. TTE. Element detection. It's her, again. Why does it feel like Xiaoji looks like Stephanie's wife in every region? Dionji. It seems that Xiaoji should have come to challenge my gym after coming to Sinnoh region, close black lens bracket. Day. Maybe I took him there. With your character, you might not even accept Xiaoji's challenge. Brandon. Shinji. Sounds a bit familiar. I actually know a guy named Raiji, close black lens bracket. Lei Si. Shinji is my younger brother. He is a child with a very awkward personality. I didn't expect Xiaoji to become friends with Shinji. It's really unexpected, close black lens bracket. Lei Si looked at his younger brother who was still awkward next to him and sighed. If it were Xiaoji, he would probably be able to change his awkward personality. Shinji looked at the inventory with a cold face. Regarding what Xiaoji said about becoming friends with him, Shinji was not unmoved. It's just that his personality is that of a tsundere. No matter what he thinks in his heart, he won't show it on his face. Moreover, even after seeing Xiaoji's performance of so many bonds increasing his strength, there is still a little bit of strength in his heart. Survival of the fittest is his trainer's law. If you want him to completely change, maybe you need an opportunity. Sinnoh region Twinleaf Town. When Dawn heard the words, the one with the best relationship is Dawn. There was a rather happy expression on his face. Being recognized by Xiaoji as Sinnoh's closest partner makes my heart explode with joy. Then when he saw that his mother was still beside him, he tried his best to suppress the expression on his face. Johanna on the side was a little speechless. I really want to tell Dawn, stop hiding it, Mom already knows it. But forget it, if the child is exposed, he doesn't know what trouble will happen, so let it take its course. In the image, after Xiaoji arrived in the Sinnoh region, his main task was naturally to send Piplup back first. When returning Piplup, Xiaoji happened to learn that there was a water racing competition in Snowpoint City. As a competition fanatic, he naturally participated in it. As for water Pokemon, Xiaoji chose to take Totodile. Xiaoji also let Totodile participate in water racing when he was in Odomale. But at that time, I was dragging people along to run. But this time without the constraints of carrying people, Totodile's speed is naturally faster. But during the game, the rockets came out to cause trouble again. The game became a mess. In the end, Pikachu used Thunderbolt to send them away. The appearance of Team Rocket helped Piplup and his trainer reconcile. Another assist. It should not be said, but when it comes to assists, the Rockets are serious. Advertisement: the water racing race has come to an end. Xiaoji decided to take Xiaochen to find acquaintances in the Hoenn region. However, except for Denji, who is the gym leader, all of them are not here. Miss Cynthia is on a mission, and Mr. Day is out looking for someone to challenge. Dawn went to Hoenn to participate in the contest. Shinji is the most outrageous. He went to learn how to be a gym leader.
It is said that he received an invitation from a certain gym leader, and Shinji actually accepted the task in the end. This made Xiaozhi, who knew something about Shinji, stunned.
Not to mention Xiaozhi in the video, Raiji and Shinji who were watching the inventory were also shocked. Lei Si even looked at his brother strangely. If he were a gym leader, he wouldn't say useless things after defeating others, right?
It is estimated that the gym where Shinji is located will become one of the gyms in the Sinnoh region that he least wants to challenge.
Image continues without reminiscing about old times. Xiaozhi went back to Kanto region with Xiaochen a little listlessly. In the end, it was Xiaochen who enlightened Xiaozhi. It's okay Xiaozhi, everyone is just acting towards their own goals. As long as there is still friendship between you, we will definitely meet again in the future. Xiaochen, I didn't expect you to say such a thing? Hash. Why can't I say such things? What kind of person am I in your heart? Hey. Very good, I'm fired up. Since everyone is moving towards the goal, I will also move towards my goal. The world's #1 Pokemon master, here I come. Watching Xiaozhi run to the laboratory in a hurry, Xiaochen complained helplessly from behind. Is your dream in the laboratory? Catalia. Haha, it's actually quite interesting to see the two of them interacting. Day. By the way, where have I been? Why did I go to another region to fight when I had nothing to do? Close black lens bracket. Dandy. It should be that he went to compete in other regions to improve his ranking in the World Championships. Close black lens bracket. Dionji. It's very possible, after all Day is also a fighting maniac. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Cynthia. Well, I am actually on a rare mission. Close black lens bracket.
Everyone felt ashamed after seeing Cynthia's words.
Co-author. You don't usually go on missions? In the image? Not long after sending Piplup back, Xiaozhi received another task. Looking for Dragonite Island. Legend has it that on a small island, all the normal Dratini are gathered together like rare treasures. That island is also called Dragonite Island, but that is just a legend after all. No one has really seen what Dragonite Island looks like. Professor marked several locations in the Pokédex of Xiaozhi's smartphone. Those places are where the legendary Dragonite Island exists. As for whether it is true or false, Xiaozhi has to verify it himself. But now comes the problem. There are no seamounts.
Xiaozhi's heart moved, and he patted his chest and said confidently to Xiaochun.
Give it to me. Then, Xiaozhi came to the harbor of Vermilion City and shouted to the seaside. Lapras. Audience is watching. What kind of operation is this? If you shout Lapras at the beach, Lapras will come to you, right? Even if you are Xiaozhi with max Pokemon affinity, you can't do this, right? Lorelei. I don't know if you still remember the memory that Xiaozhi Charizard posted before the battle with Articuno. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Of course I remember the time when Xiaozhi's Charizard encountered a turning point in his life on the Orange Islands. Xiaozhi was riding a Lapras at that time. Catalia. But now why does Xiaozhi say that he doesn't have a seamount and still calls Lapras to the seaside? Close black lens bracket. Lorelei. I guess there must be some force majeure reason that made Lapras temporarily leave the team, but if he left the team, he would probably be at sea. How could he shout like this? How could he come back after shouting? The sea is so big, if Xiaozhi really lets Lapras leave the team and go to the sea. How can you possibly shout back when you shout like this? In the image, Xiaozhi's shout attracted the attention of the people around Vermilion City. Xiaochen bowed and nodded and said to the people around her, sorry to bother you. Then he whispered to Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi, what are you shouting? Do you have Lapras stored in Yi Harbor? No, it's just that a long time ago, I left Lapras at sea to protect her companions. Now I want to try to see if my cry can reach her heart. Kaharu. I would like to ask, where did you release the animals? What a release. Lapras Pokeball is still on me, we haven't terminated the relationship yet. In other words, where did you release Lapras to protect her companions? Orange Islands. Xiaozhi, the propagation of human voice is limited, no matter how much you shout, it can't be heard more than 1,000 meters away, so we'd better rent a boat and go there. Xiaozhi's answer almost left Xiaochen speechless. What kind of idealism is this? In this case, they won't be able to set off even if they wait 10 years, right? Xiaochen. Can you just wait for 1 hour? Looking at Xiaozhi's firm eyes, Xiaochen agreed. What a nonsense guy, but I'm almost used to it. Advertisement just accompany him and have fun. Soon, an hour passed. Except for a few Magikarp that jumped out here and there was still no movement on the sea. Just when Xiaochen wanted to comfort Xiaozhi and dissuade Xiaozhi from leaving. Xiaozhi, the corners are slightly hooked, coming. Oh, the soft and loud sound of growl came. On the sea, a huge group of Lapras are swimming towards the pier at extremely fast speeds. Lorelei. Really or fake? Can this also work? Close black lens bracket, Wallace. I can't understand it, but I'm shocked. Day. Is this the bond between Xiaozhi and Pokemon? But this is too exaggerated, close black lens bracket. Dandy. From where did Xiaozhi call Lapras back? This is a bit outrageous, close black lens bracket. Even Emperor Dan found it a bit unacceptable. This can no longer be explained by bonds, right? No matter what, a call in the vast sea can bring Lapras over. Have you enabled encrypted calls? If there was unlimited distance telepathy as a reward from Tiandao inventory, that would be almost the same. In the image, under the shocked gazes of Xiaochen and the citizens of Vermilion City, Xiaozhi hugged the head of Lapras, the leader. Said affectionately, "Long time no see, Lapras." Pikachu, oh, you heard my call, right? Lapras nodded slightly. Haha, I knew you could hear it, overjoyed Xiaozhi said to Xiaochen. Come on, Xiaochen, let's go find Dragonite Island. Oh. Xiaochen was so shocked that she couldn't speak.
This is the first time she has seen so many Lapras.
On the way to Dragonite Island, Xiaochen asked Xiaozhi why he could call Lapras back. Xiaozhi scratched his head and said with an embarrassed look.
Actually, I can't tell you. It's just intuition. Intuition.
AV hash. It's really yours, Xiaozhi's answer, it's the same as not saying it. In short, even though we are far apart, our hearts are still connected. Xiaozhi stroked Lapras with a smile and said, whether it's Lapras, Larvitar, Fiery Monkey, Butterfree, Big Eagle, Greninja, Solgaleo. Their hearts are always connected with mine, hash. No, how many Pokémon did you release? The following names, Greninja and Solgaleo, were names she had never heard of before. Open black lens bracket Professor Kukui. Did I hear you correctly? Sol, Galio? Close black lens bracket. Lorelei. You heard me right, is there something wrong with this Pokémon? Close black lens bracket.
Professor Kukui. He is the god of our Alola region. In conversion, he is the same top god as Ho-Oh, Lugia and others. Level 10, Zhao Lord Zhao Shen's.
Professor Kukui. I saw Solgaleo and Xiaozhi together before, but Xiaozhi actually subdued Solgaleo. Oh my god, that's outrageous. Bar. Close black lens bracket, Yulongdu. Gigi, even without the help of Tiandao inventory, has Xiaozhi conquered the first level god? It is really terrifying, close black lens bracket. Lorelei. The point is, Xiaozhi even released Greninja. What happened? And what did Xiaozhi mean when the hearts are always connected? Is this the case? Is it related to him calling Lapras back with an order? Close black lens bracket.
Professor Oak. Although it is just a guess, but I think there is only one explanation, that is, Xiaozhi is a brave man with the power of Waveguide. Close black lens bracket.
Professor Oak. The so-called Waveguide power is an ability that is on par with special powers such as the power of Viridian and Psychic. Pokémon like Riolu are born with the power of Waveguides. The power of the Waveguide has many uses, such as fighting, searching surrounding locations, and most importantly, no matter how far the distance is between the two parties, as long as the Waveguides are connected together, they can communicate with each other. This is an ability that is extremely suitable for Xiaozhi. I'm afraid, as long as the Pokémon is conquered by Xiaozhi, Xiaozhi will passively record their Waveguides when he wants to find them. Xiaozhi accidentally activates the Waveguide in his body, and the sound will be transmitted to his Pokémon, close black lens bracket. Many viewers. What a perverted ability. It sounds quite outrageous, okay. Is there such an ability in the world? Land? Chapter 161. Xiaozhi can also Dragon Dance? Dragonite Island conquers Dragonite? Advertisement in the image, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen sat on Lapras' back. While looking for the Dragonite Island on the Pokédex, Xiaozhi told the story of him and Lapras. After Lapras saw his long-lost training house, he also seemed very happy and interacted very intimately with Xiaozhi along the way. In this pleasant journey, the results were not so good. Xiaozhi and Xiaochen visited all the places on the Pokédex, but still could not find the so-called Dragonite Island. Then Xiaozhi had an idea and said to Lapras, Lapras, can you find Dragonite Island? Oh, it's Dragonite, the fat one with two small wings and antennae. Xiaozhi said as Pikachu shaped his body into the shape of Dragonite. Xiaochen once again refreshed the world view. Xiaozhi's Pikachu has no bones? Catalia. WOC, it's Ditto in Pikachu form. Open black lens bracket Bruno. Xiaozhi's Pikachu must be Ditto's transformation, close black lens bracket. Professor Oak. Be confident, maybe it was Mew who transformed it, which would explain why Pikachu is so powerful. Sabrina. This Pikachu has the potential to become a psychic Pokémon. With Pikachu changing your appearance, Lapras finally understood what Xiaozhi was looking for. She thought for a moment, then took Xiaozhi and started galloping on the sea. Not long after, she took Xiaozhi to an island. On the island, it's actually all Dragonite. There are even quite a few Dragonair and Dratini. This is a major discovery, however, Lapras is so confused that he doesn't know where he ended up. So the exact location of Dragonite Island is still unknown to everyone in the world. I only know that it is in the waters of Kanto, Professor Oak's laboratory backyard. Lance said awkwardly. Actually, Dragonite Island is the property of our Yulong family, and those messy locations are all fake news released by our family. In this regard, the other champion elites were not surprised. After all, this news is no longer a secret among the upper levels. Only Xiaozhi and other juniors look shocked. Didn't I tell you before, Xiaozhi, to pick a dragon Pokémon? You can also choose the Pokémon on Dragonite Island. You can even just pick a Dragonite. Hearing this, Xiaozhi was instantly overjoyed. Thank you, Mr. Lance. Thank you, I promise to give it to you. I will take you there when the Indigo Plateau Conference is over. Okay. In the image, after Xiaozhi and Xiaochen came to Dragonite Island, because of Xiaozhi's unique affinity,
he quickly became involved with the Dragonites. Then they learned that there was a flightless Dragonair here.
It is rumored that when you are in trouble at sea, you will meet Dragonite to rescue you. That's what these kind Dragonites do. When all the Dragonite and Dragonair left, only the Dragonair who could not fly remained in place. Of course the warm-hearted Xiaozhi couldn't stand it anymore. I immediately decided to teach Dragonair flying. How can there be Pokémon that can't fly in the world? Even his Pikachu can fly briefly? He himself can even fly in the air, so getting Dragonair to fly is a piece of cake. However, after some teaching, Dragonair still couldn't fly. This put Xiaozhi in distress. Finally, Xiaochen pointed out that Dragonair seemed to have made some moves when flying. Koharu asked Pokédex to identify the image he had just taken of Dragonair flying together.
Finally, we came up with, it's Dragon Dance. I understand. You have to learn Dragon Dance to fly, right? In that case, just leave it to me. I'll demonstrate it to you.
Hash. What are you talking about, Xiaozhi? Can you demonstrate Dragon Dance again? Are you sure you didn't say the wrong thing? That's a Pokémon skill? Yulongdu. Come on, come on. Classic Mega True Rookie Operation, close black lens bracket. Norman. After flying, Bone Rush, and Bullet Seed, are you going to show off new skills again? Xiaozhi, you really are not a Pokémon, are you? Close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi. Of course not, my physical fitness is just a little better than that of normal people, close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Let me correct you, it's hundreds of millions, close black lens bracket. Sabrina. If I have reached the peak of human beings in terms of psychic ability, then Xiaozhi has reached the peak of human beings in terms of physical fitness, close black lens bracket. The world's #1 psychic, Sabrina, is certified as a powerful person. Now Xiaozhi's abnormal physique is recognized around the world. Even though I showed some Pokémon attack skills before, now even Pokémon auxiliary skills are ready to be used.
It's hard not to doubt that Xiaozhi is not a Pokémon.
In the image, Xiaozhi thought for a while, then suddenly he had an idea and shouted to Pikachu. Pikachu, use Electro Web on those rocks. Advertisement. Pick up. In Pikachu's confused eyes, Xiaozhi told Pikachu, Xiaochen and Dragonair his plan in full. What? Use the assist Electro Web as a trampoline, and then make corresponding dance moves while playing Sky. This is too messy. This idea directly shocked Xiaochen for 20 years. She originally thought that during this time together, she had gotten to know Xiaozhi better. Now it seems. I know a great thing. The Xiaozhi she knew was just the tip of the iceberg, okay? What the hell is this random special training method? You must know that this is the champion Pikachu's Electro Web, even if the power is reduced. Normal humans would probably be scorched if they touched it. Still want assist Electro Web bounce? How is it possible? Don't worry, Xiaochen. Just take care of it. Then Xiaozhi started his devilish operation. For the first time, Xiaozhi jumped onto the Electro Web, and his bones were exposed due to the electric shock. Then he fell to the ground covered in charred black. That look made Xiaochen feel a little familiar. Oh, were you the one who fell on the stairs of the laboratory at that time? Doesn't Xiaozhi look like the unknown object lying on the stairs of the laboratory before? Even the pose and shape are the same. Oh, what's the laboratory stairs? We'll talk about that later. I'm going to continue. Xiaozhi stood up unsteadily, shook his somewhat numb body. The dark skin all over his body was thrown off directly by him, and then he continued to experiment. After 3 or 4 times in a row, Koharuto became numb. Is this person not afraid of electricity at all? Why did nothing happen after being electrocuted so many times? Is Electro Web fake? Xiaochen quietly touched the side of Electro Web, and then 3 waves of numbness spread throughout her body. Okay, Koharu, don't touch Pikachu's Electro Web. It's very powerful. It turns out you also know how powerful it is. Look at you. Why do you look like someone who is completely fine? During the time she was with Xiaozhi, Xiaochen felt like she was almost turning into a complainer. Xiaozhi's unreasonable behavior is more than she has seen in her entire life. It's almost done. Ooh. Just when Xiaozhi was about to test for the 5th time, Dragonair came to Xiaozhi's side. Said he wanted to be with Xiaozhi. Okay. Let's learn Dragon Dance together. 1, 2, rush. One person and one dragon charged forward with overwhelming momentum. Then splash high and landed on the big golden net. Huge electricity was transmitted into both bodies. Dragonair itself is resistant to electricity, and Xiaozhi, his electricity resistance is already fully charged. The two assist Electro Web splashes high, and then make spinning and curling movements in the air. A mysterious power wraps around Dragonair. Then, the wings on both sides of Dragonair's head grew in vain. They became several times the size. The white dual wingbeat spreads its wings with Dragonair and flies high.
And Xiaozhi landed safely. Dragon Dance, learn it.
Diantha. Wonderful. So wonderful. Xiaozhi refreshed my understanding of human limits. Close black lens bracket. Lian Wu. Is this the true value of Mega Rookie? It's so fierce? Kaido. Master. I want to learn this. Close black lens bracket open black lens bracket Bruno. As a fighting major, what kind of dragon dance do you want to learn? Close black lens bracket. Kaido. Master Xiaozhi can learn dragon dance, so it's normal for me to learn dragon dance? Is it normal for me to teach Machamp to learn dragon dance after I learn dragon dance? In this way, my Machamp can have a powerful means of amplification. Lian Wu. Wakao. A truth that I never imagined. I also want to learn from Master Xiaozhi, close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi. That. Me, don't call me Master Xiaozhi. I can't afford this responsibility, elite gym leaders. Xiaozhi said that now he doesn't know how to be a dragon.
If he knew dragon dance, Pikachu would be the first to teach him.
In the image, Xiaochen looked at Dragonair soaring in the sky and was stunned for a moment. Have you really learned it? This isn't the first time I've taught Pokemon skills. I'm not bragging, I'm pretty good at this.
Quote. You are really a monster, right? What words? What kind of words are these? I call them genius.
Pikachu. Pikachu nodded in agreement. Don't get me wrong, he nodded to agree with what Xiaochen said. Xiaozhi is a monster. Having experienced so many things with Xiaozhi, he can clearly tell Xiaochen. Xiaozhi is a monster. Ooh. Dragonair, who had learned the dragon dance, flew down and stayed with Xiaozhi for a while. Then he suddenly seemed to notice something, got off Xiaozhi's body. Eyes staring at the calm sea. Xiaozhi also felt something was wrong with Dragonair. Advertisement. The direction Dragonair is looking at is the direction those Dragonites left. Uneasy, Xiaozhi asked Dragonair to go over and take a look, and followed him. Originally, Xiaozhi wanted to fly away on Dragonair, but the skin on Dragonair was too smooth.
So there is no way to ride it. So Xiaozhi could only follow Xiaochen on Lapras.
Zero, please give me flowers. Zero. Not long after Lapras swam on the sea, he saw a figure appearing on the sea. No, to be precise, it should be 2 people and 1 cat. It turns out that Team Rocket lured and captured a Dragonite among the victims of roleplay at sea. Dragonair keen. I felt that my friend was in danger, so I came here. The trio of Team Rocket saw Xiaozhi and Lapras tribe, and they came up with a plan. I want to capture the Lapras, Pikachu and Dragonite as well. This time they pulled out a Wailord from the Gashapon machine. After a fight, Xiaozhi successfully rescued Dragonite. But he was also sprayed into the sky by Wailord with a powerful stream of water. He and Kaharu were also sprayed into the sky. The rescued Dragonite rescued Xiaochen, but when Dragonair wanted to rescue Xiaozhi, his smooth body could not be held by Xiaozhi. In order to save Xiaozhi, Dragonair's body burst out with the bright light of evolution. After a moment, an orange Pokémon appeared in front of Xiaozhi and hugged Xiaozhi. Then fly high. Dragonair evolved into Dragonite for Xiaozhi. As for the Team Rocket trio, they were directly sent back to the sky by another Dragonite's destructive death ray. Later, Dragonite wanted to become Xiaozhi's Pokémon because he was grateful for Xiaozhi's teachings to him. Xiaozhi naturally accepted this without hesitation. At this point, Xiaozhi successfully conquered his 4th quasi-god. Larvitar is also included. Diantha. Tears? The Rockets sent another assist. Is this the kindness of the Rockets or the guidance of God? Close black lens bracket. Wallace. The result of Team Rocket's victory this time is help Dragonair evolve into Dragonite, and during this period the bond between Xiaozhi and Dragonite deepened. They are really not good people. Close black lens bracket. Catalan. There are always people in the world who have good intentions and do bad things, and there are also people who have bad intentions and do good things. This does not mean that the latter are good people, but people like the Rockets trio. I really don't know how to classify it. Close black lens bracket, Professor Kukui. Indeed, people like them, who can always turn bad intentions into good things, don't know whether they are considered bad people or not. Looking at the comments on the barrage list, Xiaozhi and Team Rocket all fell into deep thought. Xiaozhi and others thought, it seems, what the champion elites said is right. Every time Team Rocket comes to cause trouble, it actually helps them with something. Could it be that the Rockets are actually arrogant? They continue to do bad things to assist them every time? The Rockets trio were thinking, they wouldn't be treated as traitors by Boss Giovanni, right? But they obviously want to do bad things every time. Who would have thought that I would be able to help Lil Guido and the others every time? Are they not born to do bad things? Both sides fell into deep thinking. Like Zhongyi after Xiaozhi conquered Dragonite, he returned to Sakuragi Laboratory. Kaharu sent all the photos, information, and videos of Dragonite Island to Professor Sakuragi. However, they did not locate the location of Dragonite Island. Because it might be the best choice to leave those extremely precious Dragonites in the world undisturbed. If Dragonite Island is announced, who knows what humans will do? The most difficult thing to predict in the world, isn't it the human heart? Professor Sakuragi also agrees with what Xiaozhi and Xiaochen said. He didn't even plan to spread the news about Dragonite Island, but quietly kept this video as a collection. After the Dragonite Island incident, Xiaozhi took Dragonite back to Professor Oak's backyard. Introduced Dragonite to his friends. The audience also took a look at the Pokémon that Xiaozhi had conquered. Some of these Pokémon have an extremely powerful aura that can be felt just through the screen. For example Sceptile, Infernape. Day. Xiaozhi actually has an Infernape. And from the looks of it, it's no weaker than my Infernape, close black lens bracket. Denji. Oh, Day, did you actually give such a high evaluation? You must know that your Infernape is a championship level, close black lens bracket. Although Day is in the Sinnoh Elite Four, that is because Cynthia, an extremely powerful champion, is holding him down. If it were placed in the Unova region, there would be no problem for him to be the champion.
Its trump card Infernape is only weaker than Garchomp. However, Day actually spoke so highly of Xiaozhi's Infernape.
It seems, Xiaozhi has grown up a lot a few years later. He can take out not only Sceptile, Charizard, and Pikachu, but also other Pokémon.
In the image, after Xiaozhi took Dragonite to reminisce with the Pokémon in his backyard.
Back in Vermilion City again, because he suddenly received an emergency call.
The Sakuragi laboratory in Vermilion City is haunted.
In this world, if there are ghosts, they are usually caused by ghost-type Pokémon. Therefore, Xiaozhi specially brought a targeted Pokémon this time.
After arriving at Sakuragi laboratory, he saw everyone in the laboratory being controlled to float.
And Kaharu stood in front of a purple and black Pokémon tremblingly. Chapter 162. Lance, why are you still in Elite Four? The Legend of Wuji Tina.
Novel image. Advertisement. In the image, when Xiaozhi came to Sakuragi laboratory, he discovered that
everyone was in a floating contest condition. Only Xiaochen stood on the ground and trembled. The caller was standing in front of her, and there was also a purple and black Pokémon in front of her. It has red eyes, two pointed ears, short limbs, and a tail. Ghost-type Pokémon. Gengar. Sure enough, the haunting that Professor Sakuragi said was Gengar's arrival. Xiaoharu, are you okay? I'm fine. He protected me when I called him, but this Gengar is so powerful. Xiaochun's face showed a timid look. Professor Sakuragi asked her to use the collar to fight.
But she was a little afraid that her collar would not be able to defeat Gengar, or even be seriously injured.
Having only experienced one battle, she didn't know how to fight well. Leave it to me. It's you who decides. Noctowl. Gu. Noctowl has a vibrato when he speaks, I don't know how to describe it.
A red-gold Noctowl appeared in front of everyone. Although Professor Sakuragi was controlled in midair at this time, he couldn't help but exclaimed after seeing Xiaozhi's Noctowl.
It's actually a red Noctowl? Is it Flash Noctowl? Xiaozhi's Noctowl has a completely different color than the usual Noctowl. This color scheme is much better looking than the normal Noctowl. Professor Sakuragi, isn't this the time to talk about this? Noctowl, extrasensory. Gu. Noctowl's red eyes lit up with golden luster. Then his mouth opened slightly, and a tornado-like golden extrasensory swept out. Upon seeing this, Gengar quickly got out of the way, and the controlled Professor Sakuragi and others were also directly knocked down and fell to the ground. Then Gengar disappeared directly inside the house. This is a move that only a few Gengars can use, stealth. Don't even think about leaving, Noctowl, foresight. As I said before, Xiaozhi brought Noctowl here specifically for the ghost Pokémon. The bottom line is that Noctowl knows the foresight trick. His Noctowl, apart from being different in color, is smarter than the normal Noctowl. He is even more talented and handy with super-type moves. It's perfect for dealing with ghost-type Pokémon. Gu. Noctowl 03's red eyes lit up, and then Gengar was nowhere to be seen. He was found by Noctowl in an instant. That's it, use extrasensory. Tornado Normal's extrasensory bursts out again, but Gengar is not that easy to bully. He stretched out his hands, and a powerful confusion stopped extrasensory in midair. Psychic move, psychic power, this Gengar is really strong. How interesting, I have decided to conquer you Gengar. Noctowl, Air Slash. Gu. Countless white energy blades fell like a rainstorm. Seeing this, Gengar repeated his old trick and used Psychic to control all the Air Slash. Now, use Aerial Ace, Gu. Noctowl spun around in the air and instantly arrived in front of Gengar at a speed that was impossible to detect. Then the body covered with streamlined white light slammed into Gengar's body. Gengar was knocked directly out of Sakuragi laboratory. Oops. Upon seeing this, Xiaozhi ran out quickly and found that Gengar had disappeared. If you are in a narrow indoor environment, it is easier to use foresight. But outdoors, even if Noctowl knows foresight, he can't find Gengar like a needle in a haystack. Oh, what a pity. Xiaozhi sighed, feeling sorry for missing Gengar. Then he stopped thinking so much and went back to the house to check on the situation of Professor Sakuragi and others. Yulongdu. I noticed it just now in the backyard. Xiaozhi's Noctowl has a different color. I didn't expect it to be quite powerful. Close black lens bracket. Karen. Noctowl is a Pokémon that gathers in the Johto region. It should be conquered by Xiaozhi in the Johto region, right? Close black lens bracket. Will. This Noctowl is not only a shiny Pokémon, his control over Psychic is not even inferior to that of a super Pokémon. I have to wonder if Xiaozhi's Noctowl is a super flying Pokémon. Catalia. Don't say it, don't say it. This color also matches the super type, close black lens bracket. Super type trainer will be more excited when it comes to super type Pokémon. For example, Catalia and Will, amidst the heated discussions among the people. Xiaozhi in the video has already explained the cause and effect to Professor Sakuragi and others. It turns out that Gengar had already appeared in Sakuragi laboratory before. Or, it's a haunted house in itself, but Professor Sakuragi thought this was very interesting, so he decided to buy this ghost house. Advertisement: treat it as your own laboratory, researchers. Xiaozhi Xiaochen. After working on it for a long time, it turns out that this place is actually a haunted house. And maybe, this is Gengar's own residence, in other words, they're the intruders. But we can't say that. After all, this is the house that Professor Sakuragi bought. The intruder thing is a bit much, but, after they live here, Gengar will have no place to live. It's decided, if we see Gengar again next time, we must find him a better house. Xiaochen looked at Xiaozhi, who changed his goal instantly and couldn't help laughing. Peeved, Xiaozhi, you really come up with it as soon as you think of it. Didn't you just say that you wanted to conquer Gengar? But, some Pokémon are better off in the wild if they're used to it, I've always thought so. Facing the powerful Gengar, did he resist the desire to conquer in his heart? This is Xiaozhi's style. The seeds in Xiaochun's heart seem to be quietly sprouting. Yoryuatari. Professor Sakuragi, do you still choose that address as laboratory? Close black lens bracket. Professor Sakuragi. My laboratory hasn't been established so quickly. The scene on the video should be 3 or 4 years later, right? So it's not that fast. Close black lens bracket. Steven. Can you tell me where the house in the video is? I can buy it directly. If Gengar lives in it, I will keep it for him. Close black lens bracket.
Wallace. What kind of inhumane statement? No one can say that.
Open black lens bracket. Will. Mr. Steven is really rich. Close black lens bracket. If you don't agree, just buy a house. This is Steven, the top noble son of Hoenn. The words of discussion were left behind, and now everyone continues to watch the inventory video. It seems the turning point is coming. Image 1. A few days after the Gengar incident, Professor Sakuragi summoned Xiaochen and Xiaozhi again, and gave them 2 tickets, World Championship final tickets. Although Gongmen Stadium is very large, tickets for the finals are still hard to get. Even Kaharu, who was not very interested in fighting, was somewhat interested. However, Xiaozhi was surprisingly calm, which made Xiaochen very strange. Xiaozhi, this is the final ticket for the World Championships. Why don't you look excited?
The World Championships, what kind of competition is it?
Professor Sakuragi. No way, no way. You, an Alola champion, don't know what the World Championship is? You live on Mars, right? Yulongdu. Ah, Xiaozhi doesn't know about the World Championships? Wallace. This is really surprising. Day. Tisk. Fighting Madman Xiaozhi, don't you know about the World Championships? But it seems to be quite normal. After all, Xiaozhi never watches the news, and he has never won the conference champion before. Competitions of this level like the World Championships are still relatively difficult to reach. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. That's not what you said. You don't really think that Xiaozhi doesn't have championship strength without winning the championship, do you? In Hoenn Battle Frontier, Charizard and Pikachu already have weak elite strength. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. The follow-up Sinnoh Sceptile has reached the strength of normal and even high-level elite. Charizard's strength must have also reached a higher level. So, Xiaozhi doesn't know about the World Championships, he just simply doesn't know. It's not that he is weak. Day. Sorry, I was the one who prejudged it. I apologize to Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi. It doesn't matter, Mr. Day. In fact, if there were no Tiandao inventory, I might really have to wait until I finish traveling in the Alola region to find out about the World Championships. Close black lens bracket. The World Championship is indeed a world-famous competition. But, Xiaozhi's news is too close. How could the news that was far away in Galar reach his ears? Image 1. When I learned that the World Championship is to determine the world's mightiest champion. Xiaozhi's eyes sparkled with countless little stars, emitting a dazzling light. I'm going. Professor, when does the game start? Probably tomorrow. Let's go Xiaochen, let's go now. With that said, Xiaozhi grabbed Xiaochun's hand and started charging outside. Hey, wait, I have to go to class today, Professor Sakuragi said to Xiaochen while waving to Xiaozhi and the other 2. Don't worry, I've already asked for leave from school for you. it's no problem to come back after playing outside for a few days. Thank you so much, Dad. Under Xiaoji's impetuous pace, Xiaoji and Xiaochen soon embarked on the road to Galar. But the train was gone, so they chose to fly there. On the plane, Xiaoji still couldn't bear his restless heart and began to check out the contestants in this final. The strongest undefeated champion. Dandy, Kanto Mightiest Elite 4, Yulongdu. Ah, I know Mr. Lance, but who is Alchemy Emperor?
Even the Galar region is a new acquaintance with Xiaoji, so it is naturally impossible for him to meet the strongest champion of Galar, Dan Emperor.
For this reason, Xiaochen gave Xiaoji a good science education. Advertisement. Yulongdu. Oh, did I make it to the finals of that tournament? Haha. I must have discovered Dragonite's mega system and defeated you all. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Lorelei. Close black lens bracket, Lorelei. Why don't you look at what Xiaoji was chanting just now, Kanto Mightiest Elite 4, which means, you still haven't won the Kanto Championship, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket you idiot, it's so heartbreaking to kill people. If you don't mention Kanto Championship, we are still good friends. Lance never expected that a few years later, he would not win the Kanto Championship.
Agatha, Bruno, Lorelei, these three people are really good at it.
Once Lorelei resigns, it will definitely be a matter of minutes for him to win the championship. Have you mastered M? Can he still not win the championship in EGA? Here is Lance thinking he has Mega Dragonite. Readers, please don't get it wrong. In the image, just when Xiaochen finished giving Xiaoji popular science, the interior of the plane suddenly dimmed, the entire plane sounded a loud siren. Xiaochen and Xiaoji were both shocked and didn't know what happened. Then a broadcast came from the plane, saying that there was air turbulence and there was no need to panic.
Pikachu. Did you feel it too, Pikachu?
Xiaoji and Pikachu looked out the window with solemn eyes, as if there was something normal there. What do you feel? Xiaoji, did you see something? Xiaochen followed Xiaoji and looked out the window, but the purple figure flashed past, frightening her so much that she immediately returned to her seat. Is that Pokémon? Xiaochen said tremblingly. Just looking at it made me feel like I had fallen into an ice cellar, and my whole body was chilling. How does Pokémon have such power? It should be a Pokémon, and a legendary Pokémon. This sense of oppression is no weaker than Reshiram, Lugia Solgaleo and the others. Xiaoji said solemnly, holding a Pokeball in his hand. If the other party takes action against this passenger plane, everyone will count. They all probably have to die here, therefore, we must not let him take action. Pokémon that can fight in the air and compete with high-level legendaries, Xiaoji just happened to bring one out. Charizard. However, just when Xiaoji was extremely vigilant, the light in the plane suddenly returned to normal. The purple figure that flashed past the window has also disappeared without a trace. A crisis was quietly resolved. Yulongdu. What Pokémon was that just now? It's a mythical beast I've never seen before, close black lens bracket. Daddy, there are a lot of legendary Pokémon in Galar, but I have never seen such a Pokémon, close black lens bracket. The master of Dan Emperor is Ma Shid from Kai Island, a legendary figure in Galar and even the entire world. Reigned as the Alola Alliance champion for 18 consecutive years. Before the birth of Dan Emperor, he was known as the most talented and most powerful person in the history of Alliance. Later, because Ma Shid was old and the power of Pokémon had weakened a lot, he retired to the Isle of Armor. And the Isle of Armor is inextricably linked to the snowfield of the Crown. Therefore, Dandy knows several legendary Pokémon in the Crown Snowfield and the Isle of Armor. But this doesn't include the purple creature I just saw. Cynthia. Xiaoji's perception in the image should be very sharp, since he said he is comparable to Lugia and the others, he must be a high-level legend. I just don't know if he is Galar. Region's Hermit Pokémon. Professor Mulan. I seem to have read about this Pokémon in the literature, but the time I saw it just now was too short, and I don't know if it is the one recorded in the literature. Close black lens bracket. Mulan Professor, Senior Professor of Galar Region. She worked closely with President Roz of the Morocomon Group and successfully developed the extremely giant wristband, turning her hypothesis into a reality. It can be said that he is a legendary figure who single-handedly developed the Dynamax system. Dandy. Professor Mulan, but it doesn't matter what kind of Pokémon is recorded in the literature, close black lens bracket. Professor Mulan. 3,000 years ago, there was a Pokémon called Wujitina. Due to the exhaustion of his power, he tried to maintain his life by absorbing the energy of the Galar region. As a result, dark night fell, and after his whole body burst into brilliant red light, he appeared in the form of a black vortex. It caused the Pokémon to become Gigantamaxed, causing the Pokémon to lose control and cause chaos everywhere, and the Galar region was almost destroyed. At the critical moment, a hero armed with a sword and shield defeated Wujitana and restored Galar to its original state, close black lens bracket. Professor Mulan. According to the description in the literature, the Pokémon Xiaoji met in the video is very similar to Wujitai. Hearing this, everyone's expressions changed greatly. If what Professor Mulan said is true, then, a few years later, Wu Ji-tai appeared again. What kind of disaster will Wu Jitina bring to Galar this time? Galar Region Malokomon Group. Roz looked at the comments on the barrage, thoughtfully. That dark night of Wu Ji-tai. Doesn't this coincide with the plan I had in mind? Could it be that my future self succeeded? Peas. There is a slight bug in the timeline here. In the original novel, Xiaozhi is 10 years old. After traveling to 7 regions, he is still 10 years old. The World Championships has only been around for a year, so it's normal that Xiaozhi doesn't know about it, but it's a bit of a bug in the novel. However, there are already a lot of bugs in the animation, so a small bug here is not a big deal. Chapter 163. Now you are no longer a challenger, but the first generation champion of Alola. Advertisement. In reality, everyone was talking a lot about the terrifying god that just appeared briefly. If that is really the case, it means that Galar is likely to encounter a big crisis in the future. But that will happen in the future, and, again, believe Xiaozhi. In the image, after going through some minor twists and turns, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen finally arrived in the Galar region. After finding a random Pokémon center to stay for one night, Xiaozhi took Xiaochen to Gongmen Stadium early the next morning. Xiaozhi, the Grand General of Gongmen Stadium, was shocked. In terms of size, the venues of all conference games he has participated in before will not be as big as Gongmen Stadium. After the two of them entered, the auditorium inside was basically full. After all, this is the final of the World Championships, a game that determines who is the strongest king. Soon, the players from both sides took the stage. On one side is Yuriodo, the strongest trainer in the Kanto region, who won the Elite Four battle. On the other side is the undefeated king of the Galar region, the strongest champion, Dandy. To Xiaozhi's surprise, this time the competition turned out to be 1-on-1. After the top 16 of some alliance tournaments, it's all 6-on-6. This is the World Championship that determines the world's mightiest champion. It turned out to be 1 version 1. But soon, both sides released their own Pokémon, and Xiaozhi simply didn't think about it anymore. What Lance uses here is naturally his trump card Dragonite. And Dandy also used trump card Charizard. The battle between the two sides was extremely fierce. You came and I refused to give in. But gradually, Emperor Dan began to gain the upper hand. Dandy's Charizard is a bit stronger than Dragonite in terms of hard power. Although Dragonite has 4 times the ability to restrain Charizard's rock skills. But Charizard also brought the rock type, doubly restraining Dragonite. Even though Charizard has an advantage in strength, Charizard is still the winner.
Then both sides began to go to Dynamax. What was originally an evenly matched battle turned into a unilateral suppression battle by Charizard after the Dynamax.
Played G-Max Wildfire to perfection. Not only did it evade Dragonite's max guard, it even had additional effects, allowing Dragonite to continuously reduce its physical strength. At the end, Dragonite fell down before the Dynamax effect even hit. Emperor Dan once again defended his title as the strongest king. Yu Longdu. Why did you lose again? Why don't I Mega Dragonite? Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Let me tell you, do you think you have the keystone on you? Close black lens bracket. Lance thought about it carefully. It seems like he really didn't bring it with him. There was only a giant wristband on his hand, and there was no keystone anywhere else on his neck. Could it be that 900, his Dragonite cannot be Mega?
No, sir, it's been a few years. MGEA evolution has become popular.
Why can't his Dragonite Mega? Could it be that Dragonite can't Mega? No. This is definitely not true. Lance doesn't want to believe this fact. Bruno. Lance, you should just admit it, Dragonite. There is no Mega, ha. Close black lens bracket. Yu Longdu. Shut up, does your Machamp have Mega? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket B. His Machamp. At least for now, there is indeed no Mega. Damn it. Don't give him a chance. If he Machamp determines the Mega form, he must taunt him back hard.
In the image, after Lance lost, he raised Alchemy Emperor's hand very frankly. Announced that Dandy is currently the world's mightiest trainer. At this time, Xiaozhi in the audience's eyes flashed with longing.
World's mightiest trainer. I've decided, I'm going to challenge Dan Emperor. Hash. Even though she was used to Xiaozhi being startled, Xiaochen was still taken aback by Xiaozhi. Although it's good that you are the first generation champion of Alola region. But, standing on the competition stage is the world's mightiest King Dandy. I have to admit that Alola region is an emerging alliance after all. Although it is not as remote as the mentally retarded young man said. However, compared with other region champions, the gold content is indeed not that high. It's a bit too early to challenge Alchemy Emperor right now, right? Xiaozhi, who didn't know what Xiaochen was thinking, was already worried about how he could fight against Dan Emperor. With this distress, Xiaozhi followed the audience out of the stadium. The scene switched to outside the Gongmen Stadium, and the Rockets trio appeared in everyone's sight. It turns out that they were ordered by boss Giovanni to confirm the strength of Dynamax. By the way, Let's take a look at the current level of Alliance's top trainers. Before leaving, they wanted to subdue a voracious turtle, but after some manipulation, the devouring turtle was enraged and suddenly became gigantic for unknown reasons. The Gigantamax Tyrannosaurus turtle lost its mind and started wreaking havoc. The surrounding spectators all fled in all directions, but more spectators were still at the Palace Gate Stadium and did not come out. At this time, a golden spark pierced the sky, hit the devouring turtle, successfully attracted the attention of the devouring turtle. The attackers are none other than Xiaozhi and Pikachu. ADDB, Yulongdu. Team Rocket has caused some trouble again, close black lens bracket. Wallace. I wonder what benefits Xiaozhi can gain from this chaos, close black lens bracket. Diantha. Oh, explain why it would be beneficial, close black lens bracket. Catalia. Ms. Diantha's observation was not careful. I said that the Rockets trio is the assist king. The chaos they cause will eventually benefit Xiaozhi. After a long period of inventory. Always like this, close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Haha, you guys have analyzed your experience. Everyone also felt that Wallace and Catalia's analysis was correct. Every time Team Rocket comes out to cause trouble, nothing bad happens, but they always help Xiaozhi more or less. This is the fate of Team Rocket. Although the Rockets trio don't think so, the facts are in front of them. No matter how much they deny it, there is no way to stop the facts in the video. So even Jesse has no words to refute the words of many champions now. Because the wisest choice now is to pretend to be dead. If you show your presence and Boss Giovanni sees it, you will really die. In the image, Xiaozhi and Pikachu stood up to stop the Gigantamaxing turtle. And Emperor Dan inside the stadium was also keenly aware that the entire stadium seemed to be a little shaken. So he quickly started to rush out. In the outside world, Pikachu continued to use Thunderbolt, but was unable to cause damage to the devouring turtle. Obviously the turtle is a water and rock type, so the electric type should double the strength to restrain the turtle. Even if the Dynamaxing doubled the HP of the devouring turtle, it would still be impossible for it to suffer almost no damage as it does now. Normal viewers haven't noticed anything yet, but some elite champions have keenly noticed that something is wrong. But they're not sure yet whether it's going to be what they predicted. After Pikachu shocked the turtle several times, the furious turtle also started to fight back. One move, Max Quake, directly landslides Fisher. The floor where Pikachu was shattered inch by inch.
However, this move, Max Quake, directly released Ground's Gigantamax energy.
Then it all poured into Pikachu's body. Pikachu's body shape began to change. It turned into a huge fat house Pikachu with different shapes. Dandy. Huh? You don't need a Gigantamax wristband to become Gigantamax? And Xiaozhi's Pikachu is still in Gigantamax form. Chibana. This should have something to do with the Dynamaxing turtle that suddenly became Dynamaxed. The Dynamax energy around the Palace Gate Stadium seems to be so huge that it overflows, and after being Dynamaxed, the Pokémon will even become violent. Violent? That's what the turtle eaters are like. I just don't know if Pikachu can do it. Kaido. By the way, Xiaozhi also met a Snorlax that suddenly became gigantic before, right? Do you think? Does this have anything to do with the legend Professor Mulan told? Close black lens bracket.
Kaido's words changed the expressions of Galar's audience and even the gym leaders.
Thinking about it carefully, Kaido seems to be right. The current phenomenon is just like what Professor Mulan said happened 3,000 years ago.
That phenomenon called Dark Knight. In addition to the purple-red Pokémon that Xiaozhi had used before, could it be said that in the not-too-distant future,
will the Dark Knight that nearly destroyed Galar 3,000 years ago return? Emperor Dan. Don't be anxious. There is still some time before the timeline in the image. We can first investigate the problem, search for documents, find out the location of Dark Knight, and find ways to strengthen his imprison.
Professor Mulan. Yes, if the sky falls, Dan Emperor will hold it up. Please take stock of it with peace of mind. Close black lens bracket.
Dan Emperor. Although Professor Mulan is right, what you said about me is really Alexander. In the image, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen were shocked when they saw the Gigantamax Pikachu. This is the first time Xiaozhi has seen Dynamax, and it is also the first time that his Pikachu has become Dynamaxed. Xiaozhi, who knows nothing about Dynamaxing, doesn't care. Start fighting directly, Pikachu, quick attack. Xiaochen. You, the first generation Alola champion, are really fake. How come you don't even know that your skills and moves will change after you become Gigantamaxed? And look at Pikachu's body type, does it look like he can do quick attack? The Gigantamax Pikachu did not lose his mind, after hearing Xiaozhi's order. Subconsciously mobilized the power in the body to use quick attack. But as he grew bigger, he lost his proud agility and speed. The so-called quick attack is not much faster than a turtle crawling. Seeing this, the devouring turtle directly used Max Geyser. The terrifying water flows backwards like a waterfall, and normal rises from the ground. Directly the huge Pikachu flew away and hit the stadium. It started to rain lightly around. Idiot Xiaozhi. After becoming Gigantamax, all the moves will become Gigantamax moves. The original moves can no longer be used. Ah, is that so? Then what moves can Pikachu use now? Advertisement. The electric-type moves will become Max Lightning, and the steel-type moves will become Max Steel Spike. Is that so? I understand. Pikachu, Iron Tail's feeling uses Max Steel Spike. Hash. What kind of command method is this? Do you really understand? Pick up. Pikachu heard this and grabbed his lightning whip-like tail, then dragged it and threw it hard on the ground. Countless sharp iron thorns crisscrossing the ground rise from the ground, heading towards the devouring turtle. Extend away. Both sides are huge beings, and Pikachu cannot dodge the attack of the devouring turtle. Naturally, the devouring turtle can't dodge Pikachu's attack. Max Steel Spike directly hit the devouring turtle. It caused considerable damage. Everyone on the sidelines looked dumbfounded by Xiaozhi. Can you understand this command? As expected of Xiaozhi and Pikachu? At this time, Dan Emperor just ran out of the stadium. After seeing the confrontation between Pikachu and the devouring turtle, and a pair of boys and girls next to Pikachu, he immediately understood what was going on, although I wonder why Xiaozhi can make Pikachu Dynamax without a Dynamax wristband. But, solve the problem first. Dandy then began to teach Xiaozhi how to use G-Max Pikachu's exclusive move, G-Max Volt Crash. As an unparalleled huge golden lightning fell, this Gigantamax event is finally over.
Xiaozhi learned about the power of Dynamax through this battle.
And he learned about his unique appearance after becoming Gigantamax, Pikachu. After solving the incident, Xiaozhi wanted to challenge Dan Emperor, but Dan Emperor as the world champion. How can it be so easy to fight anyone casually? At this time, Xiaozhi forgot his identity as Alola champion and just regarded himself as an ordinary trainer. The incident of the final battle was naturally settled. The next day, Xiaozhi and Xiaozhi were preparing to take the train back, and they sat in a dessert shop. While Xiaozhi was eating dessert, he was thinking about the battle between Dan Emperor and Lance yesterday.
At the same time, I felt a pity in my heart. Yesterday I had a chance to fight Mr. Dandy.
Xiaozhi said helplessly when he saw Xiaozhi looking like he was too happy to miss Shu. Are you still thinking about fighting Mr. Dandy?
That's right. If you come to Galar and don't have a battle with Mr. Dandy, the world champion, I always feel like something is missing.
In that case, if you tell Mr. Dandy your identity as the first generation champion of Alola, Mr. Dandy will definitely accept the challenge. Although the World Championships has a strict ranking challenge mechanism, if it is a private battle, Mr. Dandy will not refuse the battle between the strong ones, right? Facing Xiaozhi's words, Xiaozhi pointed to himself in a daze. Strong one? Me? Xiaozhi has always been a challenger? As a result, he forgot that now he has actually reached the point of being challenged. He is no longer the Xiaozhi who even the conference champion cannot win. But, Alola's first-generation champion-level powerful trainer Xiaozhi. I seem to have heard something interesting. Is it the first-generation champion of Alola? A voice suddenly sounded from behind Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi and Xiaozhi looked back, and the person who spoke was none other than the Dan Emperor that Xiaozhi was talking about just now. It turned out that Emperor Dan wanted to come over to thank the two for their help yesterday. By the way, I have a battle with Xiaozhi. Yesterday Xiaozhi told about his wish to fight against Dan Emperor, but due to some damage around the Gongmen Stadium, Emperor Dan had to take the lead in repairing the stadium, so he did not choose to fight Xiaozhi immediately. It's not that he really doesn't want to play against Xiaozhi, on the contrary, he is actually quite curious about Xiaozhi. Normally, Pokémon that become Dynamaxed under the influence of external energy will become very violent and will not obey the trainer's orders. But even though Xiaozhi's Pikachu became extremely giant, he still didn't lose his mind. So Emperor Dan actually wants to have a battle with Xiaozhi. Let's see what kind of species that Pikachu is. As a result, when I came to see Xiaozhi today, I happened to hear something incredible. It turns out that Xiaozhi is the original champion of Alola. Alola Alliance is a recently established alliance and has not yet officially integrated with Pokémon Alliance. Although there are rumors that a young champion has appeared in Alola Alliance. But its name and appearance have not yet spread. Dan D didn't expect that the Alola champion would be the child who saved Gongmen Stadium yesterday. In terms of status alone, Xiaozhi's status is actually the same as that of normal. It's just that with Xiaozhi's appearance, he can't be more than 15 years old at most. A champion of this age still makes Emperor Dan feel a little incredible. Peas. The animation here is Gyarados, but if you understand, the Lance trump card is Dragonite. Some people say that Dragonite has never been able to prove that Dan Emperor is victorious or anything like that, but the expressiveness behind the animation. Lance who took out Dragonite is even more crotch-stretching, and I actually tend to. Lance guessed that Dandy was going to use Charizard, so he used Gyarados to deal with it. Unexpectedly, Charizard also brought Thunder Punch, which can restrain Gyarados 4 times. This is called not practicing martial ethics. Chapter 164. 6th turn Pikachu vs Alchemy Emperor. The inventory is over and rewards are distributed. Advertisement, Dandy. Haha, it seems that I was shocked in the video. Xiaozhi must have been only 14 or 15 years old at the time, right? Such a young champion is unprecedented. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Isn't the point? As the strongest champion, Dan Emperor, why don't you recognize Alola's champion? Close black lens bracket. This is embarrassing. Maybe he pays too much attention to the battle, so he doesn't pay much attention to the news. Diantha. Actually, this is nothing, right? Except for Dan Emperor and me. The other champions are actually only relatively famous in their own places. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. I am because I still have the status of world actor, and Dandy is because he is ranked first among the 8 masters. Only number 1 will be impressive. What's more, Xiaozhi is not even ranked among the 8 masters now. Wallace. Well, that makes sense, but then again, are Xiaozhi and Dandy going to meet so soon? I originally thought we would have to wait until the 8th master competition. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. It should be just an ordinary exhibition match. Dandy can play one-on-one with Xiaozhi at most. If it's 6-on-6, it should still have to wait until the 8th master's match. Close black lens bracket. In the image, Emperor Dan invited Xiaozhi to Gongmen Stadium for a one-on-one competition. Xiaozhi happily agreed. Xiaochen silently changed the ticket time to the afternoon. After arriving at the Gongmen Stadium, the current stadium was completely opposite to the packed stadium yesterday. There was almost no one around, and Xiaochen became the only audience in the audience. Today's match between Xiaozhi and Dandy was also a private match, so it was natural that no one was there. And Xiaozhi has not signed up for the World Championships yet. This game will not be included in the World Championship rankings. Before the game started, Dandy took a giant wristband and handed it to Xiaozhi. And tell Xiaozhi how to use the wristband. Xiaozhi said that his Pikachu doesn't like to enter the Pokeball. As for how to Gigantamax without entering the Pokeball, there's always a way. The game officially begins. The one Xiaozhi chose was naturally his own Pikachu. And Dandy also used his own trump card Pokemon, Charizard. Regarding Xiaozhi, Emperor Dan will not be a little devil at all. Although Alola is a new alliance, its level is not as strong as the normal alliance. But the champion is the champion. If you are not careful, it is normal for the boat to capsize in the gutter. Strike first, Pikachu, use quick attack, pickup. Pikachu exerted all his strength and turned into a white light that passed through the center of the stadium. After a while, he arrived in front of Charizard. Emperor Dan ordered calmly. Charizard, use Thunder Punch next. Roar, golden lightning bursts out from Charizard's orange fist. Pikachu's figure was captured by Charizard, and Thunder Punch hit Pikachu hard. He flew at 10 meters away. What a quick response. Pikachu, Electro Web. Pika Pika Pika. Shoo Pika. Pikachu has a high splash, and the golden spark gathers at the tip of its tail. Then he swayed out fiercely. The golden net composed of huge voltages shrouding Charizard. Ancient Power. Roar. Several brown rocks condensed around Charizard, and then flew out like normal cannonballs. Ancient Power passes through the Electro Web like meteorite normal, completely tearing the Electro Web apart. He even had some energy left to attack Pikachu, cut it open with Iron Tail. Pickup. Pikachu's lightning-shaped tail was covered with a layer of metallic color. It slashed with overwhelming force. The rock that came to Pikachu felt like it had been cut by a sharp blade, turning into 2 extremely smooth halves. Falling inside the stadium, Thunderbolt, Big Text Fire. Both sides used their best moves at the same time. Golden flashes and blazing flames collide. The horrific aftermath spreads around the stadium. If this stadium wasn't big enough, Xiaochen will probably be hit by the powerful lightning and scorching flame burst. Despite this, Xiaochen could feel that the air of the entire venue seemed to have changed. Normal. Xiaozhi can really fight with Mr. Dandy, but Pikachu seems. Under Kaharu's worried eyes, the big text fire gradually suppressed Thunderbolt. Pikachu can't beat the waves on the left but on the right. Yulongdu. Have you all noticed it? Close black lens bracket, Xiaozhuer. I have discovered a long time ago that Pikachu's light does not seem to shine as brightly as it did at the beginning. Close black lens bracket. Dionji. I thought it was just my illusion, but you all discovered it. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Why did Pikachu suddenly become so weak? It doesn't make sense. Diantha. The current Alchemy Emperor's Charizard probably hasn't even used the 5th power yet. Even if there is a gap between the two, it can't be that big. Advertisement. The outer door watches the excitement, while the outer door watches the doorway. Normal viewers felt that the battle between Xiaozhi and Dandy was extremely fierce, passionate and evenly matched. But as elite champions, they saw early on that in fact, Emperor Dan did not use all his power. Now it's more like testing Pikachu. And Pikachu, now he can't even create 5 points of the power of Charizard. How could this happen? Cynthia. Have you forgotten? Pikachu's unique power of reincarnation. Close black lens bracket. Dionji. I'm going. Forget about this. Close black lens bracket, Damalonki. Every time Pikachu sets foot in a new region, he will reset 80% of his power in exchange for a higher growth limit. At the beginning of the inventory, when Pikachu set foot in Galar, this rule seemed its effective. Professor Oak. In the video, the current Pikachu should be less than a month away from the first time he set foot in the Galar region, and he would be strong enough to recover to 30 to 40% of his strength at most. Professor Kukui. In other words, the current Pikachu is a rank 6 junior Pikachu? No wonder it has become so much weaker. It seems that Xiaozhi is going to lose this time. Close black lens bracket. At the reminder of Cynthia, elite champion, and the audience was reminded of the specialness of Xiaozhi Pikachu. That is, every time you reach a new region, you will reset your power and increase your talent limit. Pikachu has just been reincarnated not long ago, no wonder he has become so weak. It seems. The real victory or defeat between Xiaozhi and Dan Emperor will be left to the 8th Master. In the image, the flames suppressed the thunder and lightning, and the Daimonji fire was almost in front of Pikachu. At the critical moment, the giant wristband on Xiaozhi's hand shines brightly. Then, Pikachu actually Dynamaxed directly without entering the Pokeball. The power of thunder and lightning on his body doubled in vain. The big text fire was suppressed back in an instant. Hit Charizard. Even though Thunderbolt is twice as powerful as Charizard. But Charizard didn't look too hurt, it's not Pikachu's lightning that has shocked the Alchemy Emperor now that has suppressed Charizard. But Pikachu can directly become Gigantamax without entering the ball. This completely breaks the convention of Dynamax. Alchemy Emperor. Xiaozhi, this Pikachu is illegal. Chibana. Professor Oak gave it to me, so you should take care of it. Close black lens bracket.
Kaido. I already knew that this Pikachu was illegal from the time I learned about the reincarnation form. You knew it too slowly, Dan Emperor. Close black lens bracket.
Denji. I'm so envious, I really want to have a Pikachu like this. In the 3 systems, except that there is no Mega Evolution. The other 2 systems of Xiaozhi's Pikachu are very special. Exclusive Z moves, Gigantamaxing without scoring a goal. Even the champions know that Xiaozhi's Pikachu now has a smart skin form that is comparable to Mega. In other words, this Pikachu has 3 systems complete, all 3 systems are special. What a weirdo. In image after Xiaozhi Pikachu went to Gigantamax, Dandy also went to Gigantamax without hesitation. He obviously can defeat Pikachu without going to Gigantamax. But in order to bring the battle to its climax, he still became Gigantamax. Then both sides used their own super moves. The blazing flames and the shining thunder and lightning hit each other respectively. Finally, Pikachu released his super giant form and fell down. Xiaozhi lost. This was expected by everyone, but Xiaozhi did not lose unjustly. If Pikachu doesn't meet the contest condition, it doesn't count as a loss even if he loses. When the 8th Master comes, it's time for the 2 of them to truly decide the winner. Afterwards, Emperor Dan gave the extremely giant wristband to Xiaozhi. And encouraged Xiaozhi to participate in the World Championship. He was waiting for Xiaozhi at the top of the 8 Masters. Yulongdu. The case has been solved. The Rockets are here to assist Xiaozhi in getting the giant wristband. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. This angle is okay, refreshing and refined. Close black lens bracket. Kibana. This seems to be the case actually. If Team Rocket hadn't caused the Tyrannosaurus turtles to riot, leading to the meeting between Xiaozhi and Dan Emperor, and then leading to this battle, I'm afraid Xiaozhi wouldn't have been able to get it so easily. Gigantic wristband. Close black lens bracket. Lulina. Indeed, the giant wristband is not something that is found on the street. This thing is actually as precious as the pure crystal normal, and only Dan Emperor can give it away casually. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Xiaozhi. So, Team Rocket are all good people. Close black lens bracket. Around the Indigo Plateau Conference venue. Let me go, I want to follow the little devil's theory, he is insulting our character. When Jessie saw Xiaozhi's words, she was ready to refute on the spot. James and Meowth caught Jessie in time. This is not the first time. Don't be impulsive, Jessie. If you speak randomly and attract the attention of the boss, it will be much more dangerous than being targeted by the champion. Yes, Meow. When the time comes, our dream of being promoted to executive and branch director will be ruined. Jessie clenched her fists and finally gave up arguing with Xiaozhi. Let him stay in the power trip for a while. After the Indigo Plateau Conference, we will definitely capture his Pikachu. That's right, Meow. In the image, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen took the train back to Kanto. On the train, Xiaochen explained the rules of the World Championships to Xiaozhi in detail. The rankings of the World Championships are divided into 3 levels: Pokeball level, Great Ball level, Ultra Ball level, and the strongest Master Ball level. Advertisement 0. Please give me flowers. Those ranked from 1000 to 99 are Pokeball level, those ranked from 1000 to 99 are Great Ball level, and those ranked from 99 to 9th are Ultra Ball level. Then you go up to the Master Ball level. There are only 8 places for the Master Ball level, so to reach that level. People who are above the level are also known as the 8th Master. Mr. Dandy is currently ranked number 1 among the 8 Masters, and is also the champion of this World Championship. If Xiaozhi wants to compete openly with Mr. Dandy, he must reach the level of the 8th Master before the rankings are settled, so that he can enter the 8th Master of the World Championship.
The person who wins the 8th Masters is the world's mightiest champion. The strongest trainer. Xiaochun is not familiar with battles and doesn't even like them.
But the theoretical knowledge is just like that of his professor father, almost full of knowledge. Naturally, he knows the rules of the 8 masters very well. Xiaozhi's whole body was on fire after hearing this. I will sign up for the World Championship immediately after I return. I have decided that this time I will let all my friends come out to fight.
Toby continued. The image is over. The ending was unexpected. Audiences all over the world were stunned on the spot.
What's going on? Isn't it the path of the 8 masters? Your World Championship ended before it even started. It's too outrageous. Only then did we see the critical moment. Xiaozhi finally decided not to compete with the baby team. Instead, I chose to go all out to participate in the World Championships. How? Why did it end before it even started? Super large inventory. Xiaozhi's 8 masters. 1. Ends here. Close black lens bracket.
Since the following involves plots related to the previous generation, a special episode, The Brave of Hashishima, will be played. Close black lens bracket. After the screening of Wave Guide Brave ends, the broadcast of the Path of the 8 Masters will continue. Close black lens bracket.
The winner of this award is Xiaochun. Close black lens bracket.
Rewards will be distributed to the 2 personnel with the highest attendance rate. Close black lens bracket.
The number of rewardees may increase in the future, so stay tuned. Close black lens bracket. The reward has been distributed, please check. Close black lens bracket. The next round of counting will start in 10 minutes. Close black lens bracket. According to the Tiandao inventory, everyone finally knows why the Tiandao inventory is broken at this time. It turns out that I was worried that they wouldn't be able to understand the plot later, so I thoughtfully released a summary of the plot. No. What kind of background information requires an entire inventory? And the title of the next review, The Brave of Bird. It has verified the conjectures of many champions and people who know the existence of the power of waveguide. That is, Xiaozhi has the power of waveguide. It is very likely that the subsequent chapters of the Path of the 8 Masters will involve Xiaozhi's waveguide power. Therefore, in order to prevent them from being confused, Tiandao Inspection first cut off the Path of the 8 Masters. The brave man who changed the waveguide. 2 rays of light fell from the sky and landed on Xiaozhi and Xiaochun respectively. Naturally, people around Xiaozhi have gotten used to this. But this is Xiaochun's first experience. The people around her were shocked. Soon, the light dissipated, and a small manual appeared in Xiaochun's hand. And there is an emerald green stone in Xiaozhi's hand. The classmates around Xiaochun all asked Xiaochun what this was. This seems to be an explanation manual for the contest in the Triple Crown Satellite Tournament. Xiaochun told the reward he received based on the information in his mind. In this manual, there are instructions on how to improve the beauty of Pokémon, how to empathize with Pokémon and perform, and how to exude the beauty of Pokémon. I have to say that for Kaharu, who has just become interested in the contest competition in the Triple Crown Satellite competition, this reward is indeed quite suitable for her. On Xiaozhi's side, everyone came closer curiously, wanting to see what reward Xiaozhi had received. When Steven saw it was an emerald green stone, he immediately became interested. But at the second glance, Steven showed a puzzled expression. Xiaozhi. This stone is the Thunderstone, right? Pikachu, who had just wanted to get closer, immediately jumped behind Cynthia. Want to harm me today? Even Lei Jili can do it? Xiaozhi looked at Pikachu with a funny face, and then said to Steven with excitement. Yes, Mr. Steven, this is a good Thunderstone, but it's different from the normal Thunderstone. This is a Thunderstone specially given to my Pikachu. Cynthia asked curiously. Pikachu just for you? Is it to make Raichu stronger after Pikachu evolves? But, no matter how strong he is, Pikachu won't be willing to evolve into Raichu, right? Pikachu hid behind Cynthia and nodded in agreement. This Pikachu won't evolve into Raichu just for that little bit of power. Xiaozhi shook his head and said, that's not the case. The effect of this Thunderstone will not make Pikachu evolve. On the contrary, it will stabilize Pikachu's current appearance. Chapter 165. Pikachu's exclusive Thunderstone. New inventory, the brave men of Waveguide. Advertisement. Xiaozhi's words made everyone very confused. Wouldn't Pikachu evolve the Thunderstone?
Is this a new type of stone? According to the information provided to me by Tiandao Inventory, after using this Thunderstone for Pikachu, Pikachu will no longer be able to evolve, but he will be able to gain the power after evolution, as well as the moves that can only be learned through evolution.
In other words, gain the power after evolution without evolving. This is the magic of Thunderstone rewarded by Tiandao Inventory. Is it true? Is there such a prop in the world? Steven's eyes almost popped out of his head. The reason why many Pokémon in the world need to evolve is because after evolution, not only does the upper limit increase in all aspects, but also your own strength will instantly increase. It can be said that besides normal exercise, evolution is the fastest way to improve. But evolution isn't all good either. For example, Bulbasaur evolves into Venusaur, and Baby Turtle evolves into Torterra. Despite gaining great strength, however, it lost the flexibility it had at the beginning and could only be used as a stand-up output. The same goes for Pikachu. After evolving into Raichu, it will be faster, but not as flexible as Pikachu. Now this Thunderstone is equivalent to further increasing Pikachu's speed. But it didn't reduce his flexibility at all. Even if you look at the whole world, it is a rare treasure. For Steven, a stone lover, he can't wait to buy it and put it in the collection cabinet at home. But this is an extremely precious prop for Xiaozhi Pikachu.
Of course, Steven would not open his mouth to buy it.
So he can only play a role. Let him take part in the follow-up review. The requirements are not high, just reward some precious stones. Tiandao inventory store doesn't have everything. At least this Thunderstone. There is absolutely no way to buy it in the Tiandao store. It's still the reward fragrance of Tiandao inventory. Pikachu, come here. After using this Thunderstone, you no longer have to worry about accidentally touching the Thunderstone to evolve. Pikapi? Is the news reliable? Of course it's true. How could I still lie to you?
Quote. Pikachu finally chose to believe Xiaozhi. After all, Xiaozhi is his most trusted partner. The electric mouse's short hand tremblingly touched the Thunderstone.
Thunderstone emits bright O3 green light, then it turned into a ball of green liquid and flowed into Pikachu's body. Immediately afterwards, Pikachu's body erupted with bright lightning. Jameng reacted in time and compressed all of Pikachu's electric light within dozens of centimeters around him. Don't let these thunder and lightning splash to the people around you.
But not everyone has a perverted and normal resistance to electricity like Xiaozhi.
Pikachu's current voltage is emitted involuntarily, if only. Except for Bruno, Qihong and Xiaozhi, all of them had to be hospitalized. Unless you drink from the fountain of life. After more than 10 seconds, the thunder and lightning around Pikachu slowly subsided. When the thunder and lightning completely subsided, Pikachu also opened his closed eyes. The small face was full of surprise. Pikachu. Haha, Pikachu has become a lot stronger, right? Look, I said I wouldn't lie to you. Pikachu scratched his head sheepishly. Now Pikachu's strength has gone even further. It can be said that there is a big gap between it and the other Pokémon. For this reason, Xiaozhi's other Pokémon secretly made up their minds that they would never continue to be enlarged. Otherwise, how will the game be played in the future? Looking at Dappy Teacher C. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. They are not bastards. Teacher Dappy, who had gained new powers, started to have ideas again. Fire Spark at Red. However, a new inventory will begin soon, and now is not the time to fight. Pikachu could only give up the idea of fighting temporarily. After a while, 10 minutes passed, and the new inventory was here. Special inventory. The Brave of Waveguide is about to begin. Close black lens bracket. There is no guessing mode this time, but there is a chance that questions will appear, so please be prepared. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket inventory officially begins. Close black lens bracket another inventory without guessing. Having said that, let alone the guessing game, in the last few times of counting, the answer question has not even appeared a few times. It's really getting harder and harder to get rewards from Tiandao inventory. The video officially begins. Advertisement. As soon as the scene started, it shocked the world. I saw that the perspective of the image was in the sky, and on both sides, there were dark things. Just like dark clouds normal. The perspective is zoomed in, and there are no dark clouds there, but humans and Pokémon. The humans here wear hard armor and hold various weapons such as guns, swords, and shields. The Pokémon even has something like a restraint on its body called normal. All humans have serious expressions, and all Pokémon have violent expressions. Is this a war? Yulongdu. Wakao. Where is this place? Is there going to be a war? How can they let Pokémon be bound to something like that? Wallace. This is really so ungraceful. War is such a distant synonym. Could it be that in the not too distant future, Pokémon will become weapons of war? Close black lens bracket. Damalanchi. I will never let that happen. Do you really think that Alliance badge like me is dead? Close black lens bracket. Dandy. Unless all our elite champions are wiped out, otherwise, we will never let Pokémon become a tool of war. Close black lens bracket.
The scene in the video made everyone's expressions change drastically. We still don't know when that will be. But this is definitely a war.
And it's a war led by humans, using Pokémon to fight. This makes Alliance, which now praises the bond with Pokémon and world peace, look so ridiculous.
All the villain groups laughed. Giovanni even laughed out loud.
Giovanni. Is this the play nice with Pokémon and the bond with Pokémon that your Alliance advocates? It's really ridiculous. Humans. Such creatures. Close black lens bracket. Giovanni. Only using Pokémon as props is what humans who dominate this planet should do. Just like in the picture. Close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi. No, this world is a world where humans and Pokémon coexist. The status of Pokémon is no lower than that of humans. Forming bonds with Pokémon and growing together is what we humans should do. Close black lens bracket.
Giovanni. Oh, if that's the case, why is there a war in the video? Xiaozhi, where are you at this time? Why don't you stop this war and show it to me?
Open black lens bracket Xiaozhi. If I still existed, I would definitely stop it from showing you, absolutely, close black lens bracket. Seeing Xiaozhi's innocent words, Giovanni sneered. This kind of naive idea can only be expressed by a kid. Now that the war has started, it will not stop, in image. The scene quickly switched from the two armies to another perspective. Deep in the densely shaded mountains, there is a winding mountain road surrounded by wind and sand. Amidst the layers of smoke and dust, a black and blue canine-like Pokémon was seen running away. There is a silver-white spike on its chest and hands. The hair at the eyes extends to the back of the head, and four things like normal headbands stick out. His appearance is majestic. The audience recognized it instantly. This is a Pokémon that is quite famous throughout the world, Lucario. It is so rare that it was once considered a legendary Pokémon. After Lucario appeared, the audience experienced the perspective of the power of the waveguide. This is Lucario using the power of waveguide to explore the path. All the surrounding scenes can appear in his mind even if he doesn't use his eyes to see them. This is the magic of waveguide power. Lucario's powerful waveguide power detects that a war is about to take place around him. So he ran to a blue crystal. The power of the huge waveguide was instilled, and telepathy was used to conduct conversations. The target of the conversation is a young man named Yulong. Yulong looks very handsome, with sky blue eyes and handsome face. Wearing a black and blue hat on his head, and a black cloak on the back. This outfit is very handsome, but it doesn't look like a modern person's outfit. Beside Yulong, there was a beautiful woman wearing the queen's costume. Open black lens bracket Madison. Ancestor Lin. Lord Yulong. Close black lens bracket, Yulongdu. This name. Are you the current queen of Orland City? Madison. Yes, the champion of crossing. The current queen of Orland City is none other than me. Close black lens bracket. Bruno. Wait. What are you talking about? Why can't I understand? Queen. Is this still a title now? Lorelei. Please, don't show your ignorant brain here. Orodron City is the castle also known as the Kanto region. Madison is the current queen there. Close black lens bracket. B. He was damaged as soon as he came out. Is it really his problem? But, I have never heard of Orland City or anything like that. Professor Oak. I remember the name Yulong. Legend has it that thousands of years ago, a legendary figure who could control waveguides appeared in the city of Orland, and his name was Yulong. Close black lens bracket. Madison. Yes, Lord Yulong was a person from thousands of years ago, and the legend of Lord Yulong is still circulating in Orland City. Madison. According to legend, the armies of the two countries were about to fight with the city of Orland as the center. It was Lord Yulong who single-handedly quelled the war. Therefore, Lord Yulong is also called the brave man of trouble. In other words, the current picture is a picture of the past and a picture of the future. Catalia. We are so close. I was so scared that I thought the Pokémon Alliance was destroyed. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. It would make sense if it were from the past. In previous eras, humans had not yet developed Pokéballs, and were very afraid of the power of Pokémon, even calling them Warcraft. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Because of fear, most Pokémon were restrained by humans using props. It was not until the establishment of the Pokémon Alliance and the emergence of the Pokéball that the relationship between humans and Pokémon gradually eased, and they even became as close as family. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia's side job is as a historian. For this kind of ancient history, it is natural to have it at your fingertips. It also provided a good popularization of science to audiences around the world. Yulongdu. Who was barking at Alliance just now? Is it wrong? Are you barking twice for me to listen? Close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Knowing that it happened in the past, Lance felt confident. Just start shouting Giovanni. As for Giovanni, he can only. The slap in the face comes too fast like a twister. Just he also said that Alliance's approach was a complete waste of effort. The result now tells him that the image is a story from 1,000 years ago. Tui. Professor Kukui. By the way, since Yulang's title is the hero of Wave, is this story telling Yulang's story? It is true that Xiaozhi has not appeared until now. Figure. Cynthia. Probably not. Just now Tiandao Inventory said that this story is to take over Xiaozhi's subsequent chapter of the 8 Masters, so. The protagonist must be Xiaozhi, that's right. Read on. In the image, Lucario and Yulong began to conduct waveguide exchanges. He told Yulong that he had detected the incoming army. And said that he could not withstand so many troops by himself. Just when Yulong was still thinking of a solution, 3 Houndooms suddenly attacked. This is the vanguard of one of the armies. He is wearing red armor. Lucario could only cut off contact with Yulong and focus on dealing with the 3 Houndooms. But no matter how hard these 3 Houndooms attacked, they couldn't touch Lucario. By chance, scattered dust splashed into Lucario's eyes. Lucario couldn't open his eyes for a short time. Just when everyone thought the situation would change, it did. It's just not the kind of change they thought Houndoom would have to make a comeback. But Lucario. On full fire. Cyanwood-colored waveguide power spread out from his body. All the surrounding scenes were directly reflected in his mind. Its reaction becomes 447 faster, and its attack becomes faster. Help, who lost his eyes, seemed to have untied Lucario. 2 cyanwood-colored light balls condensed on his hands. Then it hit the 2 Houndoom with a bang, instantly knocking 2 Houndooms flying to the rock wall, unable to get up again. Then in the horrified eyes of the last Houndoom, Lucario formed a spiral with his hands. No, it was an aura sphere and knocked it away. 3 extremely ferocious Houndooms were dispatched by Lucario with almost no damage. Yulongdu. This Lucario is so strong. Close black lens bracket, Coco Bull. What a powerful waveguide. This Lucario is even much stronger than my Lucario. Especially on the waveguide. It seems to have a unique thickness. What a talent. Cocobull, the grandfather of Kalo's gym leader Corny, also owns a quite powerful Lucario. Cynthia. The strength of this Lucario is not inferior to my Lucario, it may even be stronger, close black lens bracket. Cynthia's Lucario is even more heavyweight, that's a championship level Lucario. In other words, the Lucario on the screen has reached the championship level and is even stronger. There is a saying, if it can hit the 3 sacred pillars of the world tree, there should be nothing wrong with this Lucario champion level, right? This Lucario. How on earth has he been trained? Or, is he extremely talented? After Lucario eliminated the 3 Houndooms, he used the power of waveguides to detect the surrounding roads. Run all the way to the center where the 2 armies meet. At the same time, Yulong seemed to have made a decision. Controlling the Bai Diao, fly towards the center of the battle. On the way, Bai Diao suffered many blows, however, he still insisted on sending Yulong to his destination. By coincidence, Lucario also came to where Yulong was. Yulang's powerful waveguide immediately attracted Lucario's attention. All of a sudden, Lucario seemed to have met the backbone of normal and asked Yulong what to do now. Yulang's answer to this is, "Get out of here, Lucario." What? You? What do you mean? I have decided to abandon the castle and leave this place, so, you should leave quickly. With that said, Yulong threw out the scepter-like thing he was holding in his hand. Then, before Lucario could react, the scepter emits a dazzling light, sucking Lucario into it. Yulong kept jumping on the cliffs and left this place. This scene made the whole world fall silent. The legendary waveguide hero escaped? Not only did he escape, he also imprisoned Lucario, who admired him. What is going on? Madison, who was far away in the city of Orlin, looked at the scepter in his hand that symbolized the brave, and didn't know what to say for a while. Inside this scepter, is there still in prison holding Lucario? Chapter 166. Mew appears. Is Xiaozhi the reincarnation of Yulong? Advertisement, Kearney. Is this really the hero of Bird? Is there something wrong with the legend? Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Keep reading. Lucario can sense people's waveguides, and a person's waveguides can reflect what kind of person they are. If Yulong is such a greedy person, Lucario will never admit him. Of close black lens bracket. Although Cynthia does not have the power of waveguide, this does not hinder her understanding of Lucario. If Yulong is the kind of person who is greedy for life and afraid of death, then Lucario would not acknowledge him from the beginning, let alone call him Lord Yulong. So, there must be something hidden in this, in the image. After Yulong imprisoned Lucario, the screen switched to 2 huge armies. War is about to break out. The 2 sides were about to engage in a fight. Queen Eileen of Ordland City couldn't bear to close her eyes. Put your hands on your chest and start praying, Ba. Just then, a loud shout came from soaring in the sky. Queen Eileen opened her eyes and saw. I found Eagle flying back intermittently with a scepter in its mouth. It can be seen that Bai Diao has been seriously injured. Madison recognized it at a glance. It was the eagle that Yulong rode away. And that scepter is also the scepter in Yulang's hand. Then, in the distance, a huge tree like a phantom normal slowly appeared. And it emits a bright green light. Madison looked at the ancient trees in the distance and muttered in shock. Lucas of World Tree. Yulong, did you really use that last resort, idiot? The bright light of the World Tree illuminates the entire land. The blue crystals around the earth echo the light of the World Tree, illuminating the emerald green Lucas. The entire city of Orlin and the entire battlefield are wrapped in emerald green light. The violent Pokémon and the belligerent humans suddenly stopped fighting. The moment they were illuminated by the light, a warm feeling seemed to rise in their hearts. I no longer want to fight. Pokémon's irritable mood was immediately calmed down. A war just disappeared into the invisible. This is the power of the World Tree. The picture gradually dimmed. This is not the end, but a new beginning. Kearney. Did Yulong sacrifice himself in the end? Close black lens bracket. Yulong do. It should be true. Yulong should have used some unknown method to activate the power of the World Tree and calm down the war. It's just that he will never come back, otherwise Bai Diao will not be allowed to have power. Bring back the stick. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Now everything is easy to explain. The reason why Yulong wants to imprison Lucario is that he doesn't want Lucario to be in danger, and the other is that he doesn't want Lucario to take risks with him. Close black lens bracket. Kokobel. Yolangta is indeed worthy of the name of Waveguide's brave man. He sacrificed himself to prevent a war. Close black lens bracket. Orudron City. Madison's clear eyes couldn't help but shed tears. Yulong lived up to his legend. He indeed sacrificed himself to protect Orudron City and quell the war. It's just. Lucario in the scepter probably doesn't know this yet. What method can be used to revive Lucario in the scepter? Day. By the way, haven't you noticed? The world tree? The world tree appeared in the screen just now. Close black lens bracket. Yulongdu. Alas, the existence of world tree has still been exposed, but I believe that the Tiandao inventory will definitely add a guarantee to world tree. Close black lens bracket. Lance had already received the news about the world tree near Orudron City before. For this reason, he also concealed the news about the world tree. Unexpectedly, Tiandao inventory directly spread the news to the whole world. But it doesn't matter, every time Tiandao's inventory reveals some hidden places. There are always ways to protect hidden places. Whether it's the clear cliff over there at Mewtwo. Or the secret garden where Latios and Latios live. That's all true. The dark image slowly regained its color. The scene shifts directly back to modern times. The perspective is still Orudron City. Now Orudron City is holding its annual utilization festival. This is a festival held to commemorate you, and a Pokémon battle is held in Orudron City. The final winner will be named this year's Waveguide hero. Then the screen zoomed in, and Xiaozhi and his group appeared in public view. Also beside Xiaozhi are Mei, Xiaosheng and Xiaoging. In other words, this is the story of Xiaozhi's trip to Hoenn. Brandon. I brought Mei and Xiaosheng to the Kanto region. I guess I happened to happen upon this festival when I came to participate in the battle frontier. Close black lens bracket. Annabelle. I just don't know how many pioneer leaders Xiaozhi came to during this period. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. I could still guess a little bit about the development of the story in the previous review, but in this review, I really don't know how it will develop next. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Could it be said that the subsequent development is Xiaozhi just lifted Lucario's in prison? Will it continue the story of the wave hero? Close black lens bracket. Madison. This is possible, because until the inventory just now, I didn't know that Lucario existed in the scepter. Close black lens bracket. Advertisement, Madison. If you want to remove imprison, you must have someone who can control the power of the waveguide. It just so happens that Xiaozhi also has this ability. Close black lens bracket. In the previous 8 Masters chapter, Xiaozhi exerted the magical power of waveguide. Called back Lapras from the ends of the earth, so Xiaozhi definitely has the potential to control the power of waveguides. Even if Xiaozhi does not control the power of waveguide now, its potential power might even be able to seal Lucario out. The person who controls the power of the waveguide may not be seen once in 100 or even 1,000 years. Xiaozhi is the master of the power of waveguide that is rare in 1,000 years. In the image, Xiaozhi and others changed their clothes after arriving at Orudron City. Mei changed into a beautiful princess dress, and Xiaozhi, I don't know whether it was a coincidence or fate. He put on the exact same clothes as Yulong back then. When Xiaozhi and others finished changing their clothes and ran to participate in the festival battle, 3 sneaky figures ran into the clothing store. Not surprisingly, they are the Rockets trio. Wherever there is Xiaozhi, there are them. As for what they're here for, as bad as ever, I want to catch rare Pokémon in the entire city, but I know the success rate. Immediately afterwards, Xiaozhi started the festival battle. Pikachu's combat power report, leading Xiaozhi all the way to the finals. The last move, Thunderbolt, won the festival for Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi has become this waveguide hero, just when Xiaozhi was about to happily celebrate with Pikachu. An Apom came to Pikachu. Pikachu started to celebrate with Xiaozhi in person. Pikachu was also confused, but Apom in front of him gave out a very friendly atmosphere. So Pikachu got up with Apom to celebrate without any objection. Xiaozhi on the side was stunned for a moment, then smiled helplessly. The role of celebrate was snatched away. Diantha. I just must have read it correctly, right? Close black lens bracket. Drasna. My aunt's eyes may be wrong, but Diantha's champion's eyes will never be wrong. That Apom just now was transformed from another Pokémon, right? Close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi in the image didn't know, but they, from God's perspective, could naturally see it clearly. That Apom didn't look like Apom at the beginning. But a Mime Jr., in the absence of a reference, Mime Jr. transformed into Apom and came to the court. Yulongdu. If my prediction is good, then it should be Mew. Catalia. Is it the Mew who fought against Mewtwo? Why does he appear here? Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak. In fact, Mew is equivalent to the companion Pokémon of the World Tree, and its life is also bound to the World Tree. Both parties are equivalent to a prosperous contest condition. Professor Oak. And it is recorded in the literature that when Mew has his back against the world tree, he can exert unparalleled power. Close black lens bracket. Catalia. I see, is the world tree both Mew's power and Mew's lifeblood? In other words, the world tree is guarded by Mew, right? Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Haha, if Mew is guarding the world tree, then even without the blessing of the reward from heaven's inventory, the world tree will never be invaded. Close black lens bracket. Mew's own power was already comparable to Mewtwo. In addition, the power of the world tree is greatly improved. What level of villain can attack Mew and Yggdrasil? Team Rocket can't do it, Team Galactic can't do it, and Team Plasma can't do it either. In the image, after Xiaozhi won the festival and became a hero of Waveguide, he came to the castle. At this time, it seemed that half a day had passed, and it suddenly turned into night outside. At the royal ball that night, Queen Madison personally gave Xiaozhi the scepter of the brave. Everyone could tell at a glance that this was the scepter that Yulong had passed back. Xiaozhi happily took the scepter, but a voice sounded in his mind. The scepter in his hand also lit up with a faint light. But soon, this light disappeared into nothingness. Xiaozhi couldn't find where the sound came from. Soon, Xiaozhi forgot about this incident, released all his friends, and participated in the celebration. During this period, Xiaobing activated the S*X mode towards a girl named Kido Shamaz, and invited her to start dancing. This girl was Xiaozhi's last rival during the morning competition. Holding Weavile in hand, he was unfortunately defeated by Pikachu, who exploded in the end. Just when Xiaozhi was about to participate in the celebration, the old lady on the side stopped Xiaozhi directly. He also said that the brave could not enter the celebration, but could only sit on the stage and watch. Xiaozhi was like an eggplant beaten by frost. It's fun to be a wave hero, but it's too boring not to be able to participate in the celebration. There was no other way. Xiaozhi could only hold it up with one hand and watch the dance below. At this time, Apom, who was playing with Pikachu. Advertisement: he left the dance party with all the Pokémon from Pikachu and Xiaozhi Mei. Apom doesn't have any bad intentions, he just wants to take these Pokémon to play. They came to an attic with many toys in it, many spirits. It's incredible how much Ling is having fun here. However, just when Apom left with many Pokémon, the woman named Shi Duo also left the dance together. In the blink of an eye, she changed into another outfit. This one was a tight purple sportswear. And he also wore a pair of orange glasses, as if he was communicating with someone. Everyone watching the count felt nervous. Looks like this. No matter how you look at them, they look like the two phantom thieves from the Water City before. Is this woman also a phantom thief? As for her purpose, needless to say, it must be Mew. Yu Longdu. Damn it, why would anyone want to peek at Mew again? Wallace. I'm afraid it's not just Mew she wants to peek at, but also the world tree. Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak. I seem to have some impression of this person. She seems to be an adventurer, and she is also an adventurer who has broken many world records. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Maybe. Her purpose is indeed to peek into the world tree in Mew, but it is not about treasure or power, she just wants to explore the unknown. This is the nature of adventurers. Close black lens bracket. Yulongdu. So, could it be that I wrongly blamed her? Diantha. You will know after reading it. In a word, Lance, you will miss the mark if you talk too much. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket. Ah, yes, yes. In the image, the scene changes, just when Pikachu is playing with Apom. Kido has begun to leap over the eaves, and at the same time, there is a Meowth following behind her. This Meowth is naturally the Meowth from Team Rocket. He suspected that Kido had the same purpose as the Rocket Trio and wanted to capture the Pokémon here. Therefore, Meowth regarded each other as competition rival, and followed from behind. However, the opponent's strong skills made Meowth a little exhausted, making it very difficult to catch up. The screen switches. At this time, Apom playing with Pikachu has disappeared. But there is another Pikachu in the field. Needless to say, one of the Pikachu must have been transformed by Mew. All the Pokémon were having a great time, but during this time, Maze Munchlax was a little hungry. So he went back to the dance party and brought back a bunch of fruit. This picture was seen by Xiao Sheng, so Xiao Sheng followed Xiao Kabaitang out of curiosity. At the same time, Meowth kept leaping on the eaves, and finally fell down accidentally. By accident, it fell into the attic where Pikachu and other Pokémon were playing. Many Pokémon gathered around and looked at Meowth curiously, as if wondering why he came in through the window. Just then, one of the Pikachu transformed back into Mew. Mew, once again appears in the spotlight. Guessing is one thing, seeing it is another. Now, they have seen Mew, known as one of the most mysterious Pokémon in the world, twice. One time was during Mewtwo's counterattack, and the other time was during this inventory. Not only the audience saw Mew, but also Chi Duo standing on the eaves. After she determined Mew's position, she released the two Magus on her body, and ordered them to install a transmitter on Mew. Yulongdu. It seems that Chi Duo really wants to explore the world tree. Close black lens bracket. Professor Rhea Juniper. I can understand the desire to explore the unknown, but the world tree has not appeared in human sight for thousands of years. Snooping is actually not a good thing. Close black lens bracket Chi Duo, who was watching, also fell silent. If she were the person involved, she would definitely not notice this. But now she is indeed watching it from a third party's perspective, so she also feels. My behavior in the video was a bit reckless. Sometimes, uncovering the unknown is actually not a good thing. In the image, the two Weavile suckers punched away and suddenly attacked Mew. The scene became tense instantly, except for Pikachu and Meowth, the rest of the Pokémon, including Hoenn's leader Grovyle, who has not yet evolved. In an instant, I was frozen by two Weavile's icy wind. And Munchlax, who just came in, didn't even realize what happened. An extremely strong cold air froze him into ice cubes, together with the fruits in his hands. Although the atmosphere was very serious now, the audience couldn't help but laugh. This Munchlax feels inexplicably happy. When Mew doesn't take action and Meowth has no fighting ability. Pikachu showed his strong strength, 1 against 2, and did not lose at all. Chapter 167. Xiaozhi's power is comparable to that of a champion, authentic waveguide brave. Advertisement. Although Pikachu showed great strength. But in order to protect Meowth and Mew, Pikachu can only confront Weavile. Having lost its maximum flexibility, Pikachu was still unable to defeat two Weavile. Was knocked unconscious. Seeing this, Mew directly used teleport to take Meowth and Pikachu away from the place.
All this was seen by Xiao Sheng, who was chasing after him. Chi Duo, who was on the eaves, couldn't help but cover her face, feeling that her two Weaviles had gone too far.
Her original intention was just to install a transmitter, and she didn't want to hurt anyone. Meanwhile, at the royal ball, the ball was coming to an end. Xiaozhi once again felt someone calling him, but still didn't see anyone.
Later, the queen gave a speech, interrupting Xiaozhi's doubtful thoughts.
Now, as the end of the dance, we invite the brave men of this year to perform their brave stunts for everyone to watch. Ooh! Everyone participating in the dance was very excited.
Under the prompts of the old lady, Xiaozhi assumed the same posture as the brave man in the picture.
This is what is called a stunt. Why? After posing, Xiaozhi heard the voice again. At the same time, the scepter in his hand began to swing violently. It also exudes a dazzling light. What happened? Hearing these words, Jesse and James clenched their fists tightly to prevent themselves from being exposed. But it was too torture for them to hear this sentence but not be able to shout the lines. The light of the scepter became more and more dazzling. When the light shined to the extreme, it separated directly from the scepter. It fell on the dance party aside. A black and blue dog appeared in everyone's sight. The waveguide Pokemon Lucario has been revealed again. At this time, Lucario seemed to have just woken up from a sleep, without even opening his eyes. But his waveguide power can clearly sense the surrounding movements. The picture on the video now, that's what Lucario saw. The people around them are all transparent outlines, with a small blue dot in their center. A layer of faint blue waves spread from the small dot. This is the power of waveguides existing in the human body. Everyone will have the power of waveguide, the only difference is the quantity. And when Lucario looked at Xiaozhi, everyone was shocked. If the power of other people's waveguides is like a spark, like a clear stream. The power of Xiaozhi's waveguide is like a raging fire setting off a prairie fire and setting off a vast ocean. The rest of them are completely incomparable. Yulongdu. Wakao. Is this the power of Xiaozhi's waveguide? It's too outrageous. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Comparing the power of other people's waveguides with Xiaozhi's, it's like the gap between Tail Glow and Haoyue. There's no comparison at all. Close black lens bracket. Bruno. The case has been solved. The reason why Xiaozhi has such a terrifying physique must be due to the influence of this huge waveguide power in his body. As a result, his physique is extremely powerful. Close black lens bracket. Kato. I'm envious. With this kind of waveguide power, it's like a born fighting type Pokemon. If Xiaozhi specializes in fighting type Pokemon, I'm afraid it won't take a year to breed a championship level fighting type Pokemon. Close black lens bracket. Lian Wu. Alas, the waveguide power in my body is estimated to be less than 1% of Xiaozhi's. I wonder if Master Xiaozhi can develop my waveguide power. Close black lens bracket. Bruno. Are you shameless? The masters have all been called. If you want to teach, you must teach me, a Kanto person, first, right, Master Xiaozhi? Close black lens bracket. Wallace. You people are so shameless. Sabrina. If Xiaozhi's waveguide power is converted into psychic, it may be stronger than mine. If this power is fully developed, it will not be weaker than any championship level fighting type Pokemon. Close black lens bracket. Audiences, what does the devil speak? Will Xiaozhi, who has fully developed the power of waveguide, be weaker than a champion level Pokemon? Turtle. This is a human, not a Pokemon. Isn't this what it means to truly stand up to the gods with a mortal body? Although I have seen many outrageous actions by Xiaozhi before. But that's just a sign that Xiaozhi hasn't developed the power of waveguide. Xiaozhi, who can use the power of waveguide, is just like Xiaozhi normal from the last 8 Masters chapter. Makes you feel like you can do anything. Just the ability of someone other than Norman to sway people is enough to make people feel very outrageous. Now he has been certified as a strong person by Sabrina. The power of the fully developed waveguide is comparable to that of a champion. The humanoid Pokémon is stoned. I just don't know how long it will take for this to be fully developed. After all, Xiaozhi's waveguide power is like a vast ocean, and it will definitely not be easy to develop it. In the image, Lucario shouted subconsciously after seeing Xiaozhi's huge waveguide power. Lord Yulong. Everyone present looked confused. Yulong. A very familiar name. Advertisement Queen Eileen looked at Lucario with a complicated face. Everyone can forget the legend of the brave man, but she will not forget it. Lucario came out of the scepter and shouted Aaron's name. There is no doubt that this Lucario is the legendary Lucario back then. But, why did he call Yulang's name? Have you not recovered from the events 1,000 years ago? While Queen Eileen was confused, Lucario arrived in front of Xiaozhi in a few jumps. Shouted at Xiaozhi. Lord Yulong. Why did you abandon the castle? Why did you imprison me? Telepathy? Xiaozhi realized belatedly that the sound did not come from Lucario's mouth. But it comes from the heart, just like the voice that called him before, normal. This is a skill that very few Pokémon can master, telepathy. If you have this skill, you can communicate directly with humans. B. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Xiaozhi, who was mistaken for Yulong, was confused. Could it be that his clothes looked too much like Yulong? But, Lucario didn't open his eyes either. How could you admit your mistake? Xiaozhi's voice surprised Lucario. This voice was not Lord Yulang's voice. Lucario slowly opened his eyes, and what he saw was the face of an extremely young boy. Although his outfit is the same as Yulang's normal, even his face has a slight resemblance. But, this is not Mr. Yulong. Why? Your waveguide is the same as Master Yulang's. Professor Oak. Huh? Xiaozhi's waveguide is the same as Yulang's, close black lens bracket. Kaidu. Is there any problem with this, Professor Oak? Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak. Although I don't know how to use the power of waveguides, I also know a lot about the power of waveguides. There are waveguides in everyone's body, and the style of the waveguides will be slightly different depending on each person. Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak. Normally, there will never be two people with the same waveguide power in the world. Day. Could it be that Lucario admitted his mistake? Maybe Yulong also has such a huge waveguide, so Lucario did it. Cynthia. No, if other Pokémon would mistake waveguide, only Lucario would never mistake it. As a waveguide Pokémon, it is the most sensitive to the subtle differences in waveguide. Close black lens bracket. Coco Bull. That's right. After repeatedly confirming it twice and 3 times, Lucario still thinks that Xiaozhi's waveguide is Yulong. That means Xiaozhi's and Yulang's waveguides are indeed the same. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. What does this mean? Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak. Explain that Xiaozhi may be the reincarnation of Yulong. Audiences. Professor Oak's profound knowledge is obvious to all. If even he has made this conclusion, then it is very likely that they are inseparable. In other words, Xiaozhi is Yulong from 1,000 years ago? The waveguide hero back then? This plot is too bizarre. Reincarnation and other things have always been a legend. Unexpectedly, this kind of existence actually exists in the real world, and it is now a well-known celebrity all over the world. Xiaozhi. Orodron City. Madison looked at Professor Oak's speech and was a little dazed for a moment. Xiaozhi. Is he the reincarnation of the Yulong hero? In other words, he is not only a brave man of bird in name, but also a brave man of bird in terms of his actual ability. The waveguide hero who reincarnated from thousands of years ago. Ding! What Madison didn't notice was that on the white gem on the top of the brave scepter in her hand, a faint blue light flashed past, in the image. Faced with Lucario's questioning, Xiaozhi also looked confused. What a waveguide, what the same thing, he couldn't understand it at all. When Lucario saw Xiaozhi looking completely confused, he ran out immediately. Seeing this, Madison explained it to everyone present. The Lucario just now should be the Lucario who followed the brave Yulong thousands of years ago, but for some unknown reason, he was imprisoned in the scepter by imprison. Xiaozhi looked at the brave scepter in his hand in trance. So, was it the Lucario that called him in the first place? It's just that. It was obviously the first time they met, but why? That Lucario gave him a familiar feeling. On the other side, Lucario was running quickly in Orodland City. Everything around me is so strange and familiar. The streets were much livelier than before, and everyone was full of laughter and laughter. Soaring in the sky are flashing fireworks, everything appears so peaceful. But, it's obvious that the war was about to start not long ago. Why did the city of Orodland become like this, became so peaceful and so strange? Advertisement with his memory, Lucario ran all the way there. When I left my previous residence, the memories with Yulong kept coming to my mind. And it was played for all the audience to watch. From the moment we got to know each other, met each other, and got acquainted, Yulong has always been very good to Lucario. Except for the last in prison. Lucario came to his previous residence, and the bed he and Yulong had long since disappeared. Instead, there are display cabinets one after another. Inside the display cabinets, various photos are placed. There are also various utensils, which were all owned by the previous castle. All of this proves that this is indeed a good city of Ordland. But why did our understanding of Ordland City change so much? What happened during his sleep? Lucario. A soft shout came from behind Lucario, and Lucario turned his head instantly. Under the dim light, Madison's figure came into view. Her figure in the blurry night is exactly the same as Queen Lin from thousands of years ago. Your Highness Lin. Lucario's expression instantly became happy. If Her Royal Highness is still here, she might know something. However, the old lady beside Madison turned on the light, and her appearance was clearly displayed in front of Lucario. The surprise on Lucario's face solidified in vain. Although Madison is very similar to the Lin he remembers. But, she is not her. Queen Lin is my ancestor, and I am this queen, Madison. Madison said as she came to Lucario. His confused look made Madison reluctantly hold her in her arms. You've been sleeping, Lucario. Asleep? Yes, thousands of years have passed since your time. Lucario's pupils tightened, and then he broke away from Madison's arms and backed away slowly. He looked at everything around him in disbelief and said with some fear. How could this happen, even though this was our room yesterday? For you, this may have been your room yesterday, but for us, time has passed a long, long time. Roar. Lucario stood on the display stand beside him in disbelief, his face full of confusion. He had been hit so hard that he couldn't even use his telepathy. He actually has been sleeping for 1,000 years. Yulong, Her Majesty the Queen, are all gone.
Why? Leave him alone. Catalya. Woohoo, looking at Lucario's expression, I really feel bad for him. Close black lens bracket.
Cynthia. But in the blink of an eye, thousands of years have passed. The familiar people are no longer there, and the familiar places have changed. For Lucario, the blow is indeed too great. Close black lens bracket. Kaido. Times have changed, and there is nothing we can do about it. Yulong also had good intentions in the beginning and wanted to protect him. If he has the dignity of a fighting Pokémon, he should cheer up. 1. Dandy. Xiao Kaido is still so harsh, but don't persuade others to be good without others suffering. We are now standing from God's perspective, so we know that Yulong is for Lucario's good, so we imprisoned him. Close black lens bracket. Dandy. But Lucario doesn't know this. In his memory, Yulong abandoned the castle and abandoned him. Now that the times have changed, he can't even go to Yulong to ask for an answer. Close black lens bracket. Dandy. All the close relatives around him have disappeared over time, and the place where there has changed. For Lucario, this kind of pain must even be greater than his life. Close black lens bracket. Kaido. I'm 5.8 serious, I'm sorry. Close black lens bracket. Kaido has always been very harsh on her Pokémon and even on herself. She even took the Pokémon to an isolated island to survive in the wilderness and practice physical skills with the Pokémon. So she subconsciously became strict with Lucario. But Emperor Dan's words reminded her of how much pain Lucario was bearing now. Not only did the people close to him disappear, there was even a memory in his consciousness that his master had betrayed the castle and betrayed him. For Lucario, what a blow it was. I hope Lucario can learn the truth about the world. Image 1. The scene has switched to the Queen's Palace in Ordland City. Madison explained to Lucario the legend that has been passed down. Yulong prevented the war and saved the city of Ordland. This legend received a heated response from Lucario. In his understanding, Yulong not only failed to protect Ordland City, but abandoned the castle. Everyone on the side of Xiaozhi looked at each other in confusion. Legend seems a little different from Mikey. The atmosphere was tense for a moment, and Xiaozhi couldn't help but open his mouth to lighten the atmosphere. Lucario, why did you think I was Yulong just now? Although I am dressed very similar to Yulong, but didn't you open your eyes at that time? Your waveguide is exactly the same as Lord Yulang's waveguide. Hearing this, Xiaozhi was stunned. Lucario also said this at the beginning. His waveguide is exactly the same as Yulang's waveguide, but what exactly is a waveguide? Just then, Xiaosheng ran in with a group of Pokémon. He was still shouting. Not good. I saw Mew. Mew took Pikachu away, and Meowth. Everyone was confused. Xiaosheng was so anxious that he couldn't explain clearly. Why did Mew appear here? Chapter 168. Tsunere Lucario, is Xiaozhi enlightened? Advertisement in the image, Xiaozhi and others were confused about what Xiaosheng said. However, Queen Eileen and the old lady maid beside her knew something about the situation. It turns out that everyone here knows about Mew's existence. Mew even appears in front of people in Ordland City from time to time. It's just that Mew is ever-changing, and almost no one can see her true face. There is a legend circulating in this city that as long as you see Mew, it will bring you good luck. But now, Xiaosheng doesn't care whether he is lucky or not. Pikachu was taken away by Mew, you have to find Pikachu back quickly.
As a sister, Mei didn't believe what her brother said.
But Chi Duo suddenly walked out of the passage and confirmed that what Xiao Shang said was true. According to Kido, Mew turned into an eagle and took Pikachu and a Meowth away. The two Team Rockets who were eavesdropping immediately became worried about Meowth. They were originally here to capture Pokémon, but why was Meowth taken away instead? Queen Ilian led everyone to the observation deck outside the palace. The shadow of the World Tree can be seen there, but if you look at it from a distance, you will just think it is a mountain peak. And no one has ever been able to reach the World Tree. Although you can see it directly from here, the road in the middle is complicated. It's as if there is some mysterious power that prevents Normal from getting lost on the way to the World Tree. Going around and around, finally return to the starting point. Therefore, even though the World Tree is right in front of you, it is actually far away. Without Mew to lead the way, under normal circumstances, there is no way to go to the World Tree. Of course, since we have mentioned normal situations, there will naturally be special situations. Lucario can use the waveguide to observe the surrounding road conditions. It is said that it can also point the way for the brave in the dark night. If Lucario's waveguide power guides us, we should be able to find the World Tree. So, Lucario, can you take them to the World Tree? Madison said gently to Lucario, even though she is the queen, she respects Lucario's opinion. If Lucario is unwilling, he will have to find another way. However, for Queen Ilian who looks almost exactly the same as Queen Ilian, Lucario was filled with respect. He half knelt on the ground and answered with a standard etiquette. It's all at Her Majesty's command. Ever since he learned the news that Pikachu was abducted by Mew, Xiaozhi has always had a trace of sadness on his face. At this time, his sad face finally melted away a little. It's great that Lucario is willing to help, so Pikachu should be found soon. If you don't mind, I'll help too. Chi Duo came in wearing a sports outfit. Seeing Chi Duo's sportswear, Xiaobing's female radar instantly went off. He recognized Chi Duo as a world-famous adventurer and said that Chi Duo would definitely be able to help a lot if he was there. Chi Duo smiled a little ashamedly. Speaking of which, I was the one who asked Mew to take Pikachu away. Everyone. As Xiaobing said, my identity is an adventurer, and the purpose of coming here is actually to explore the secrets of the World Tree. Therefore, when I saw Mew, I wanted to install a transmitter on him. It's just that my two Weavile strikes were a little too heavy, which aroused Pikachu's reaction, and then accidentally injured Pikachu. That's why Mew left with Pikachu. Chi Duo sincerely apologized to everyone. The purpose of her coming this time is to cover up nature. But since you have caused trouble, you must stand up and take responsibility. She is not a villain, on the contrary, she is a warm-hearted person. She really felt sorry for Mew taking Pikachu away. Chi Duo took the initiative to admit his mistake and apologize. Naturally, Xiaoji's kind character would not let him go. Everyone decided to set out tonight after some repairs. Yu Longdu. It seems that this person named Chi Duo does not look like a villain. So who is the villain in this review? Close black lens bracket. Agatha. Can't you think of a better place? Can't there be no villain? Close black lens bracket. Lorelei. Ignore him, he's got the old habit of investigators, he looks like a villain to everyone. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket. Can we have a good chat? Professor Oak. Xiaoji and the others are going to enter the World Tree next, right? Just in time to see what the inside of the World Tree looks like. This will satisfy Chi Duo's curiosity, right? Close black lens bracket. Kiduo. Yes, Professor Oak, I will never spy on the World Tree again. I'm sorry for everything I did. Wallace. Everyone is curious. In fact, I also want to see what the World Tree looks like, but it would be wrong if we harm nature because of our curiosity. Close black lens bracket. So far, Kido has not had any impact in the image. However, if she makes the information about World Tree public, for Mew and World Tree, definitely not a good thing. That's why Wallace and Professor Oak reminded Chi Duo. Advertisement, just take a look here and don't go to the World Tree to make trouble again. In the image, while everyone was repairing, Lucario stayed in the dim palace and looked at Yulang's portrait. I must be missing it in my heart. Just then, Xiaoji came over. Lucario blocked Xiaoji at lightning speed, only to find out later that it was Xiaoji. Then let it go. Xiaoji didn't mind this at all, but said to Lucario with a smile on his face. It's up to you tomorrow, Lucario, I must find Pikachu back. Are you the owner of that Pikachu? Master? No, it's a friend. Yes. Very good friends. If your friend disappears, you will naturally be worried, Lucario. You think so too, right? Lucario. Xiaoji's words reminded him of Yulang, who had such a good relationship with him back then. Yeah. I am only helping you for Her Royal Highness the Queen, don't get me wrong. Saying this, Lucario walked away slowly. Xiaoji scratched his head, feeling, this dog is a bit arrogant. Is it his imagination? Kearney. Haha, this Lucario is a bit dishonest. He obviously wants to help Xiaoji, but he says it's for Queen Ilian. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Cynthia. Haha, this is Lucario's unique Tsunere, close black lens bracket. Catalia. Will we be able to see the world tree soon? I wonder what the scene will be like inside the world tree. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Diantha. It should be very beautiful, close black lens bracket. Everyone is looking forward to seeing the full view of world tree.
After all, no one has seen the world tree for thousands of years.
Not just Keto, everyone is curious. But Chi Duo was the only one who took action on this. Image 1 at this time, the scene was changing. Everyone had finished repairing and started heading to the world tree. Lucario led the way, while Keto followed Lucario in an off-road vehicle.
There is thick fog everywhere and visibility is very low.
If Lucario hadn't led the way, they might have lost sight of Baigong after walking 100 meters. On the way, Xiaozhi was curious about Lucario's waveguide power. For this reason, Chi Duo explained to Xiaozhi. There are waveguides in all living things, but the difference is more and less. Waveguides are also the life energy of all living things. When a person owns a huge waveguide and can control the waveguide, he is called the messenger of the waveguide. The legendary Yulong is the messenger of the waveguide. If you can freely manipulate the power of the waveguide, you can not only talk to people mentally, but also detect the surrounding terrain, observe how many people are around, and other magical effects. Basically, Pokémon like Lucario can control waveguides to some extent, but this is the first time I've seen a Pokémon that can control it as skillfully as Lucario. It is truly a brave Pokémon. Chi Duo did some popular science and praised Lucario, who was leading the way.
Understand that normal's Lucario wants to use waveguide.
It takes quiet calmness to guide and spread the power of the waveguide. But this Lucario can freely use the power of the waveguide while running, which is enough to illustrate its specialness. His control over the waveguide is not as strong as normal's.
Hearing this, Mei suddenly remembered what Lucario said.
Didn't Lucario just say that Xiaozhi and Yulang's waveguides are the same? In other words, Xiaozhi also has a huge waveguide in his body? In this case, does Xiaozhi also have the potential to become a waveguide messenger? Hearing this, Xiaozhi also looked at his hands with excitement. It would be so cool to become a waveguide like the legendary hero Yulong. Suddenly, the car jolted violently, and Xiaozhi hit the roof of the car directly. Mei, who was sitting next to Xiaozhi, was thrown away and leaned against Xiaozhi. Mei's cheeks instantly turned rosy, but when she saw Xiaozhi touching her head and looking in pain, he couldn't help but laugh out loud again. Haha, it seems that it is too early to become the messenger of waveguide. That's right. Let's sit down first and then talk. As he spoke, Xiaozhi held on to the handrail on the side and pulled Mei on the side to prevent her from being too bumpy. Mei naturally also pulled Xiao Sheng beside her. Catalia. Huh. Xiaozhi has enlightened and knows how to take care of Stephanie, close black lens bracket. Diantha. I guess it's subconscious, don't you see that Mei is also pulling Xiao Sheng, close black lens bracket. Drasna. Xiaozhi acted subconsciously towards Mei, but Mei's actions are not necessarily different. Norman. Ahem, speaking of which, does Xiaozhi have a way to control the power of waveguides in his body like Yulong? Although Xiaozhi has a huge power of waveguides in his body, it will be useless if it is not developed, right? Close black lens bracket. Norman looked at his daughter who was blushing and kept tugging at his clothes. You can only send comments to change the topic. Otherwise, my daughter's CPU will almost burn out. Professor Oak. The training methods and usage of the power of waveguide have long been lost, but this inventory may reward Xiaozhi with something similar. Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak has discovered the reward for each Tiandao inventory. It's either related to the content in the inventory, or it's a reward for greatly improving Xiaozhi's current situation. Advertisement. Therefore, it is not surprising that the Tiandao inventory will reward the cultivation method of the power of waveguide. The topic was also successfully introduced. Image 1. Chi Duo continued to drive the car, and behind the car, at the trunk, there were two people suffering from torture. These two people are naturally Jesse and James. Of course they were nominally going to the world tree to capture Mew, but in reality they wanted to bring Meowth back. After all, Meowth is an indispensable member of their trio. So they secretly got into Xiaozhi and others' car. Screen transition. The image on the screen suddenly changed from misty clouds to a place filled with birds singing and flowers fragrant. Here, a Meowth is playing with a bunch of toys boredly. And Pikachu is lying quietly on a basket made of leafage. This place is naturally World Tree. Mew brought Pikachu to the World Tree and simply treated his wounds. Not long after, Pikachu woke up leisurely. Seeing this, Mew directly took Pikachu and started playing. Two cute Pokémon started playing inside this lush, spring-filled World Tree. Meowth on the side also rarely had any thoughts of doing bad things, and looked at the two Pokémon with relief. Later, by chance, Meowth took the elevator to the top of the World Tree. Pikachu and Mew followed. The three Pokémon came to the top of the World Tree, and the scenery they looked at shocked all the audience. The majestic Hideki and the beautiful scenery are truly rare to see in the world. However, when seeing such a beautiful scenery, Pikachu began to miss Xiaozhi. It would be great if Xiaozhi could also look at the scenery together. Yulong do. Unexpectedly, before Xiaozhi and others came to the World Tree, we had already glimpsed the tip of the iceberg of the World Tree. Close black lens bracket.
Catalya. World Tree is indeed a stunningly beautiful place. Its environment and scenery are among the best in the world. Close black lens bracket. Will, I don't know if other places in World Tree will be as beautiful, or if there will be something special about it. Close black lens bracket.
Karen. You are all paying attention to the scenery, but I am the only one who noticed Pikachu's pitiful eyes. He must have started to miss Xiaozhi. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Yes, after all, Pikachu didn't even enter the Pokeball during the trip. He was by Xiaozhi's side almost all the time. Xiaozhi missed Pikachu. Naturally, I miss Xiaozhi too. Close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi, who was in the backyard of Professor Oak's laboratory, couldn't help but hug Pikachu tightly. If Pikachu got lost one day, he would probably be as anxious as normal in the image. The same goes for Pikachu. Pikapi, I will always stay with Xiaozhi.
We must never separate, Pikachu. In the image.
The perspective of the screen changes to Xiaozhi and his group, the Good Kings. They have now passed through the layers of fog, and the time has gradually turned into morning.
People are like iron, and rice is like steel. If you don't eat one meal, you will feel hungry. Even if they were anxious to find Pikachu, they had to stop and fix things now.
After all, although Chi-Duo is a famous adventurer, she does not have a perverted physique like Xiaozhi. Driving all night is quite tiring for the eyes and body. During their break, they met a nonsense tree that liked to pretend to cry.
And he secretly ate the cooking made by Xiaoging, but this was just a small episode.
Later, when Chi-Duo continued to drive, Hu Huoshu quietly followed Chi-Duo's car. Maybe it's because the food Xiaoging cooks is so delicious. Soon the group came to a geyser, where there was a small hot spring. Mei suggested going in and relaxing, although Xiaozhi wants to find Pikachu quickly. But looking at Chi-Duo, who was a little tired from driving all the time, and the other partners who were tired, he still agreed to take a dip in the hot springs here. While soaking in the hot spring, Xiaozhi was still thinking that it would be great if Pikachu could also soak in the hot spring here. And Lucario looked at the hot springs and recalled the time when he and Yulong took a hot spring bath together. Peas. I changed 2 points here. One is that the existence of the World Tree can be observed, but it is difficult to find. Otherwise, why has the World Tree that can be seen from Orland City not been observed for thousands of years? Even if you can't walk in, what about flying a spaceship? So I modified the settings of World Tree and changed the reason why I need Lucario's help. It would seem much more reasonable to use him as a guide. In addition, the character named Chi-Duo does not have bad intentions. But the culprit who almost destroyed the World Tree was indeed her. It's equivalent to saying, I don't kill Boren, but Boren died because of me, cannot be washed away. If you do something bad, you have done something bad. I asked her to admit her mistake in the early stage. It will give readers a better look and feel. Chapter 169. Xiaozhi used submission on Lucario, Mei's wife attribute. Advertisement in the image. Lucario was recalling the past, and Xiaozhi suddenly asked him to come down and soak in the hot spring together. Interrupted from his recollection, he glanced at Xiaozhi without saying a word, then turned and left.
This left Xiaozhi a little confused. Then, Mei saw a beautiful flower, and Xiaozhi wanted to climb up and have a look.
As a result, it accidentally slipped down, the flower was picked directly, and Xiaozhi also fell into the water. Mei took the flower from Xiaozhi's hand and said with a frown. You are really mad, Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi touched his head awkwardly and said. I'll plant it back after taking a dip in the hot springs. Soon, several people got up from the hot spring, changed their clothes and prepared to plant the beautiful flowers not far away.
Just when Xiaozhi was digging the hole and preparing to plant the flowers suddenly glowed brightly. Then a scene appeared in front of everyone. This scene is exactly what happened when Xiaozhi was picking flowers just now.
Everyone was confused and didn't know what happened. Lucario looked at Xiaozhi with complicated eyes. Regarding this flower, Yulong once told him that it was the flower of time that only the messenger of waveguide could activate. Unexpectedly, Xiaozhi not only has the same waveguide as Yulong, but its huge waveguide can also passively touch the flower of time. The scene disappeared quickly. Chi-Duo ran over and looked at the flowers in Xiaozhi's hand in surprise. Is this the legendary flower of time? Flower of time? Legend has it that the messenger of waveguide can see the miracle of time through this flower. Chi-Duo held the flower of time in her hand and looked at it carefully, then continued.
It seems that this so-called miracle of time is the scene that Xiaozhi saw just now. Being able to recreate the past scenes. What a magical power.
It must be because Xiaozhi you have the same huge waveguide power as Yulong that you are able to trigger the effect of the flower of time. Professor Oak. Oh, I didn't expect that there is a flower of time near the World Tree, and Xiaozhi can actually trigger it. This will be of great help to the study of history. 1. Wallace. The flower of time is indeed beautiful, and it is even more wonderful when it blooms. Unfortunately, the only ones who can trigger the flower of time are Xiaozhi and that Lucario. Close black lens bracket. Day. Why? If you can trigger the Flower of Time by controlling the waveguide, can't the other Lucario? Close black lens bracket.
Cynthia. Just having a waveguide is not enough, the power of the waveguide must be huge enough. Otherwise, the Flower of Time will not be a miracle that only belongs to the waveguide messenger. 1.
Cynthia. People who are called waveguide messengers have extremely huge waveguides in their bodies. Although my Lucario is strong enough, it is probably not as good as Xiaozhi and the Lucario on the screen when it comes to waves. Close black lens bracket. Just because Cynthia's Lucario waveguide isn't strong doesn't mean it itself isn't strong. Lucario is ultimately a Steel plus Fighting type Pokémon, a combination of Fighting type energy, Steel type energy, and waveguide power. This is Lucario's overall strength. Although the power of the waveguide is somewhat similar to the energy of the fighting system, the two are actually not the same. However, although the waveguide is not strong, it does not mean that it is not strong. But if the waveguide is powerful, then it itself must be very strong. In the image, it's night in a blink of an eye. Last night, everyone had been running around all night. Naturally, it is impossible to stay up late and drive again tonight. So they set up Courtney on a hillside lawn, and everyone chatted and prepared for rest. Xiaozhi remembered the time when he and Pikachu were together because of the Flower of Time that bloomed in the evening. In the beginning, Pikachu wasn't that close to me, he was always on guard against me and would often shock me, although he is also shocking me now, haha. Mei asked curiously, then how did Xiaozhi become good friends with Pikachu? Hearing this, Xiaozhi recalled the day when he first started traveling, the scene that was seen and passed down by the world. When we first came out, we were attacked by the Spearow group. In the end, we worked together to overcome the difficulty. From that time on, we became very good friends. I trust Pikachu, and Pikachu trusts me, so I will definitely bring Pikachu back. Lucario sat aside, listening to Xiaozhi's affectionate words to Pikachu. I thought of Yulong and him again. He trusted Yulong so much back then, and Yulong was so friendly to him.
But what about in the end? He was imprisoned and the castle was abandoned. He probably used some method to end the war. Anyway, it definitely has nothing to do with Yulong who ran away and abandoned him.
What is there to trust? Human beings are all unreliable.
The words full of atmosphere rang in the hearts of Xiaozhi and others.
Xiaozhi was stunned for a while and ran to Lucario who was about to leave.
Are you talking about me? When you encounter difficulties, maybe you will leave Pikachu alone.
I will never abandon Pikachu, who knows? Lucario crossed Xiaozhi and left slowly, his face extremely cold. After all, how could a legendary hero abandon his Pokémon? This is just nonsense. Lucari, ADDH, Europe. Lucario, who had already recalled the incident with Yulong in prison, was fueled by Xiaozhi's words and became very angry. Advertisement Mei and others saw Xiaozhi and Lucario quarreling and rushed over. Want to dissuade them? With a trainer like you, no wonder Pikachu would leave. Maybe Pikachu has abandoned you. What did you say? Xiaozhi rushed forward with a strong step and hugged Lucario. Then the two fought against each other and rolled down the hillside. Mega's true rookie skill, submission, thump.
The two fell into the small pool on the side at the same time.
The water splashed and the waves rolled. A man and a dog fight each other in the water without giving in. Lucario was also extremely shocked while rage. Is this guy really human? His body has gone through a lot of training, but he can't compete with him in terms of hard strength. In the end, Lucario used his years of fighting experience and used his skill to throw Xiaozhi away.
Otherwise, I don't know if this battle will last until tomorrow. Xiaozhi stood up and was ready to continue fighting. Seeing this, Mei ran into the water and grabbed Xiaozhi.
Stop hitting Xiaozhi. After Mei's dissuasion, Xiaozhi finally calmed down a little. And Lucario also jumped up from the water and walked into the distance. If the fight continues, I don't know if I can beat Xiaozhi. Open black lens bracket Bruno. Walkout. Fighting the champion Lucario with bare hands, close black lens bracket. Kaido. Xiaozhi. Is it really still a human being? Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Miss Sabrina just said that if Xiaozhi develops all the power of waveguides in his body, he might be able to defeat the championship-level fighting Pokémon. Now it seems. There is no need to develop it, Xiaozhi now it's a championship-level fighting Pokémon. Miscalculation, Xiaozhi's body was stronger than she thought.
Physically, he is the same as Lucario from thousands of years ago. If the power of the waveguide in his body is developed again.
I'm afraid a humanoid beast is about to appear. Lian Wu. The problem is, Xiaozhi is not a pure fighting type, right? He can use Bullet Seed. You still say you are a fighting type? Yulong do. Don't ask, just ask. Xiaozhi is a humanoid beast. Open black lens bracket Xiaozhi. Close black lens bracket. I'm so panicked when you say that. My physical body isn't that powerful now, okay. At most, it's a fight with gym level Machamp. It's quite difficult to fight against champion level Lucario, right? Having said that, Lucario in the video has a miserable life. In the video, he didn't know Lucario's situation, so he quarreled with Lucario like this. But in the real world, he sees it from God's perspective. Lucario is now betrayed by his loved ones. Even the man who betrayed him was dead. All the warm memories that existed in his memories were like nothingness under the last betrayal. No wonder he would say something like that. I hope Lucario can know the truth as soon as possible. Xiaozhi has a hunch that if he wants to find the truth, he may have to rely on the flower of time. Image 1. Xiaozhi came out of the pool, and Mei thoughtfully took a towel to wipe Xiaozhi's hair. Under Mei's gaze, Xiaozhi's arrogance slowly weakened, and finally he curled his lips in dissatisfaction. That's the guy who said my Pikachu abandoned me. Xiaozhi also said something outrageous to Lucario. Mei walked to Xiaozhi's side and enlightened Xiaozhi. You know, Lucario has just woken up from a 1,000-year slumber. Everything around him has changed. All the people he is familiar with and his closest relatives have disappeared. 11. Even at the end of his memory, the brave man he followed betrayed him and imprisoned him, regardless of whether what he said was wrong or not. In his perception, it was like this. That's why Lucario said those words when he heard that Xiaozhi and Pikachu were so close and trusted. In the past, he and Yulong must have been as close as Xiaozhi Pikachu. Xiaozhi, think about it, if you were Lucario, in your memory, Pikachu finally abandoned you and put you into a deep sleep. When you wake up, thousands of years have passed. Pikachu is gone. What will happen to you, Xiaozhi? If that were the case, he would definitely go crazy. From this point of view, Lucario can still talk to him calmly, which means he is extremely mentally strong. Neither of them is wrong. They are wrong. Maybe it's the world. Mei helped the stunned Xiaozhi slowly wipe his hair and said softly. So Xiaozhi, find a chance to reconcile with Lucario. He definitely didn't mean what he said. Catalia. Compared to the beginning, Mei has really grown a lot. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Lorelei. Mei looks like she is coaxing a child. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Cynthia. Married wife Haruka? Close black lens bracket. Mei. No, I'm just more considerate. Miss Cynthia, please stop talking nonsense. Hoenn Region Petalburg Gym. Mei's face was flushed and she was typing text on the screen in front of her. This time, married wife Haruka will completely stop her. Advertisement. The most important thing is the way she wipes Xiaozhi's hair really looks a bit like a wife.
Only when you have no guilt in your heart can you be calm in the world, but what if you have guilt in your heart?
Mei had to admit that she seemed to have some thoughts about Xiaozhi. After all along the way, the pictures are of Xiaozhi, risking his own life for Pokémon many times.
And he also took great care of her during the Sceptile Bond chapter.
Who can see such a man without being confused? JPG. Xiao Sheng on the side looked at Mei with some teasing, even though he is less than 6 years old now. But he is the precocious king Xiao Sheng. Looking at his sister's reaction, he understood something instantly. Sister. There's something wrong with you. Boom. The fist as big as a casserole wrapped up Xiao Sheng's headbutt. Mei blew her smoking fist. If I don't teach you a lesson, you really don't know who the elder sister is in this family.
Stephanies from all over the world who are related to Xiaozhi, after seeing Mei's actions, their sense of crisis increased.
I thought Stephanie was stupid and clumsy. I didn't expect it to be limited to Pokémon battles. You are so merciless when flirting with a man, Mei. I think she cares a lot about people's inner feelings. Although Xiaozhi is the senior when it comes to Pokémon, Mei should be the senior when it comes to dealing with people. But
in the animation, Mei's character design is good or bad depending on the editor's issues, which is very wise, but now I am the editor.
In the image, after Mei solved Xiaozhi's depression, the scene switched to Guzi's side. Lucario leaned against the tree quietly, thinking about something. At this time, Xiao Sheng, a little boy with eyes and green clothes, came mysteriously.
Lucario glanced at him and felt relieved. When it comes to children, he is relatively tolerant and not so strict.
I saw Xiao Sheng taking out the mysterious thing hidden behind him. Dang dang. Lucario, you haven't eaten this, haven't you?
What's this? This is called chocolate. It is a very sweet food. Eating sweets when you are in a bad mood will make you feel better. Let me try it for you.
Xiao Sheng said, split the chocolate he took out in half and handed it to Lucario. Lucario sniffed it, then ate it directly. The slightly bitter yet sweet taste gradually calmed down Lucario's irritable mood. Open black lens bracket. Yulongdu. Stop. Dogs can't eat chocolate. Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Hot knowledge. Chocolate is a toxic item for dogs. Professor Oak. Hot knowledge. Lucario is a steel type and is immune to poison type damage. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Catalia. Close black lens bracket. Okay, you are professor, you are NB. You can say things like steel type and poison type immunity. You still succeeded, Professor Oak. Diantha. The two Mei sisters said, without us, this family would be ruined. Catalia. The two siblings each went to comfort the two parties involved, which can be said to be very heartwarming. Close black lens bracket. Drake. I didn't realize that that little boy has such a caring side. He is indeed the son of the Norman family. Norman. Thank you Drake Elite for the praise of my child. But I want to say that Xiaosheng is outstanding not because he is my son, but because he is Xiaosheng. Norman doesn't want his children to be labeled as Norman's children everywhere. Just like Professor Sakuragi's daughter Kaharu before. Such labels are not conducive to children's growth. Drake. I was negligent. Mr. Norman is right. Close black lens bracket in the image. After the enlightenment of the Mei siblings, Xiaozhi and Lucario also put aside their prejudices. But reconciliation is definitely not that quick. On the other side of the world tree, Pikachu also misses Xiaozhi very much. But Mew still wants to play with Pikachu again, plus it's already evening now, so we can only wait until the morning. Pikachu looked around and murmured a little lonely. Pikapi. At this time, Xiaozhi, Mei and others had fallen asleep in the car. But Pikachu's murmur seemed to reach Xiaozhi's heart, and he suddenly woke up. Then he quietly came outside the car, looked at the world tree that seemed so close in the distance, and murmured. Pikachu. Are you okay? This sentence was heard by Lucario, who was resting aside.
His prejudice against Xiaozhi has become less and less with Xiaozhi's performance.
Early in the morning, everyone continued to travel. They are getting closer to the world tree. Suddenly, Lucario stopped. The off-road vehicle behind also came to a sudden stop.
Everyone got out of the car and asked Lucario what happened.
Chapter 170. Xiaozhi's tears, Lucario crushes Regirock. Advertisement facing everyone's inquiries, Lucario looked around and murmured.
Here is where I was imprisoned. Quote. This situation brought back Lucario's sad memories again.
That was his last memory before losing consciousness, and it was also his most painful memory. Why? You want to imprison me, Master Yulong? Lucario was half kneeling on the ground, and there happened to be a flower of time in front of him.
His sad emotions caused his waveguide power to flow out uncontrollably, touching the flower of time.
Later, the scene from that year appeared in front of everyone again. Lucario was right, it was indeed Yulong who gave him to imprison. Not long after it was imprisoned, this place had already become a battlefield between two countries. Lucario looked at the phantoms that were constantly fighting around him, and his mood became more and more violent. He even fired several rounds of aura sphere uncontrollably.
Lucario calmed down. These are all illusions. Xiaozhi quickly dodged several aura sphere and called to Lucario.
Lucario also came over under Xiaozhi's call, then he ran to the valley uncontrollably. The flower of time also stopped transmitting images because of Lucario's departure. The audience was extremely anxious at this time. How did this plot develop like this? If Lucario's waveguide had lasted longer. He could see the power of the world tree pouring out to control the war. And Bai Diao also brought the brave scepter back to the castle. In this way, the misunderstanding will be resolved. But it was interrupted at this time. Guzi, Arguzi. In the video, after Lucario left, everyone began to question the authenticity of the legend. But since Yulong can control the power of the waveguide and was recognized by Lucario from the beginning. No matter how you think about it, you don't look like someone who would abandon Lucario. Could it be that 337 Yulong is trying to protect Lucario? Mei raised questions, but now, no one knows the truth. I'll go see him, Xiaozhi said and ran towards Lucario. Xiaosheng also wanted to take a look, but was stopped by Xiaoging. Let Xiaozhi go, his waveguide is the same as Yulong, and the bond between him and Pikachu may make Lucario believe in humans again and get salvation. At this time, letting Xiaozhi go is the best choice. Xiaosheng was also very obedient and did not follow him. In the valley, Lucario was half kneeling on the ground, seemingly unable to accept the reality he recalled in his mind. The sound of slight footsteps came. Lucario turned his head and looked over. He found that the boy he had ridiculed yesterday had come behind him. Come here now. Do you want to laugh at his embarrassed appearance? As a result, when Xiaozhi opened his mouth, he was extremely surprised. Sorry, yesterday I didn't consider your mood at all and said something very outrageous. It must be very painful to experience the betrayal of a loved one. The scene just now proves that what you said is not wrong, so I apologize to you. Xiaozhi lowered his head, with clear tears in his eyes. He actually cried? Lucario is a little unbelievable. Did this boy cry just because of what he said yesterday? No, it's not because of those words, it's because this boy is feeling pain for what happened to him. But I believe that Yulong must have some difficulties. Lucario, if your bond with Yulong is like that between me and Pikachu, then Yulong must have some compelling reason to imprison you. I hope you can believe him. Lucario. Xiaozhi's words made him unable to answer. If there is a choice, he also wants to believe Yulong. If he hadn't experienced that incident personally, he would still believe in Yulong. But what kind of difficulties would make Yulong do such a thing? Lucario is unknown. But he knew that the boy in front of him was a boy who was more upright and emotional than Kia Yulong. He will scold his partner for his sake. I will also apologize for myself. He will even shed tears because of what happened to him. Such a young man. Why did he say such things to him yesterday? It should be me who should say sorry. Xiaozhi, no matter what, don't give up on Pikachu, okay? Xiaozhi wiped away tears and showed a bright smile to Lucario Lu. Of course. No matter what, I will never abandon Pikachu. Anyone who wants to harm Pikachu's life must step over my body. When Lucario heard this, he also showed a smile. He believed what the boy said. One person and one dog let go of the past feud here.
Diantha. In tears, Xiaozhi still loves Pikachu so much. Karen. Xiaozhi, what an upright, kind and emotional young man. Even though Lucario said such outrageous things to him, he still felt sad for Lucario. He even apologized to him. Close black lens bracket.
Advertisement. Cynthia. From a god's perspective, both parties are actually not wrong, but from Xiaozhi's perspective, Lucario undoubtedly insulted his friendship with Pikachu. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Under such circumstances, Xiaozhi was still able to resolve the feud with Lucario, and even shed tears of distress over his encounter. This is enough to show how excellent Xiaozhi's character is. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. You're right. What Xiaozhi said, if you want to hurt Pikachu, you have to step over my body. These are definitely not perfunctory words. They're sincere, because we have already seen such a scene once. During the previous inventory of Rainbow Heroes, the audience has already seen Xiaozhi's performance in fulfilling his promise. He truly protected Pikachu with his own life. They also believe that Xiaozhi will never abandon Pikachu under any circumstances. This is the bond between Xiaozhi and Pikachu. Bruno. At this moment, these two people have already recognized each other. Maybe in the near future, we can see another champion Lucario in Xiaozhi's lineup. 1. Drasna. Euler, it seems to be true. After all, Xiaozhi's waveguide is the same as Yulang's. Now that Yulong is gone, Xiaozhi has also been recognized by Lucario. Maybe Lucario will really follow Xiaozhi in the end. Close black lens bracket. Many champion elites also agree. Xiaozhi and Lucario are indeed a perfect combination. After all, there will probably never be another person like Xiaozhi with such huge waveguide power in this world. And Lucario doesn't have a suitable follower now. Following Xiaozhi is naturally the best choice, however, some people are doubtful. During the previous inventory of the Road to the Eight Masters, they didn't seem to have seen Lucario in Professor Oak's backyard. Even Charizard is back. Could it be said that although Lucario has become Xiaozhi's Pokémon? But did he stay in Orodron City? Only when Xiaozhi needs Lucario, Lucario will return to the team. Just like Charizard normal in Charizard Valley, yes, that must be the case. In the image, the two men, who had settled their differences, looked at each other and smiled. Suddenly, Lucario's expression became solemn, and then he closed his eyes. 4 normal hairband-like things floated on the back. What's wrong, Lucario? Lucario did not answer Xiaozhi, but ran back quickly. When Xiaozhi saw this, he could only follow him immediately. Soon one person and one dog returned to where they had just stopped. Everyone didn't have time to be happy when they saw Xiaozhi and Lucario coming back. I saw Lucario's solemn expression. He suddenly stopped and kicked up a large amount of dust, and then blocked Xiao Sheng and others. Lucario, what happened? As soon as Xiaozhi finished speaking, Lucario quickly pushed Xiaozhi away. From under Xiaozhi's feet, something like a spinning top, rapid spin, burst out of the ground. Then it fell heavily to the ground. Only when the dust settled did everyone see clearly the appearance of the visitor. The arrival is made of gray and orange. There's an H pattern consisting of 7 orange dots on the front of the head. He has 2 thick rock arms, and his hands are 2 huge gray rocks. The shoulders are made of huge, towering orange thorn-like rocks. This guy is one of the 3 divine pillars, Regirock. There are legendary Pokémon around the World Tree? The lights on Regirock's head flashed, and then the off-road vehicle was lifted high into the air. It hit Xiaozhi and others hard. Naturally, it is impossible to attack Xiaozhi with this slow attack. That's it. Team Rocket inside the car was in a terrible situation. The huge vibration almost made them dizzy. Regirock, who failed to hit the target, did not stop attacking. Instead, a golden ball of light with a destructive aura began to condense in front of him. This is the ultimate trick of the normal system, destroying the Death Ray. Regirock is a legendary Pokémon, and the power of this move to destroy the Death Ray is absolutely powerful. However, when Regirock condensed the destructive Death Ray and launched it, Lucario also rubbed a cyanwood-colored aura sphere on his hand, and then blasted out one. The blue aura sphere and the powerful golden light beam with destructive power tackle together. To everyone's surprise, not to mention evenly matched, the seemingly majestic destructive death light didn't even last a second. He was directly suppressed by aura sphere and then hit Regirock hard. Knocked it away. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lucario told everyone to leave quickly. This is not far from the World Tree. You Longdu. Although I already know that Lucario is very strong, but isn't it a bit of a foul to be so strong? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Annabelle. Brandon, how does that Regirock compare to your Regirock? Close black lens bracket. Brandon. Comparing the power of the moves, it is only stronger than my Regirock. I suspect that this Regirock is probably the guardian of the World Tree. Since he has guarded the world tree for thousands of years, or even 10,000 years, its strength. How can it be weak? Close black lens bracket.
Brandon. And the destructive death light emitted by this kind of Regirock can't even block the aura sphere for a second. This strength should not be weaker than the second-level god of the priesthood, right? Cynthia. It's very possible. This is another Pokémon that has reached the realm of gods in a mortal body. He is probably the most special Lucario in the world. Close black lens bracket.
Kearney. My grandfather's Lucario is so inferior to his Norman. This Lucario is so handsome. Coco Boolean. Advertisement. If you can talk more, is your grandpa weak? In this world, except Cynthia's Lucario, he thinks he will not lose to any Lucario. But, now I have to add one more. The strength of Lucario in the video is indeed much higher than his Lucario. This guy. Is he a natural talent, or has he gone through the training of Hell's Normal?
Isn't the power of the waveguide too strong? In the image.
After Lucario blocked Regirock, he led everyone to move forward. After many twists and turns, he led everyone into a cave. Then he slowed down. Why did Regirock appear here and attack us? Only now did Xiaozhi have a chance to breathe, and couldn't help but ask this question. He is warning us not to get close to the world tree. So Regirock is the guardian of the world tree? It's almost 10, it's almost there. Lucario slowly opened his closed eyes. Not far in front of him, there was already light coming out. After everyone walked dozens of steps, the dark eyes suddenly became clear. The peerless beauty shocked them greatly. The Tolkowski Mountain is beautiful, the birds are singing and the flowers are fragrant. This is an unparalleled and beautiful pure land. This reminded Xiaozhi of the original Qingqingya. The environment here can be said to be even better than that of Clear Cliff. It really deserves to be a world tree. Xiaozhi, look. Xiaozhi looked in the direction Xiaobing pointed and found many Pokémon. Swarms of Altaria, freely flying Aerodactyl, Cradily playing rough. Parent-child interaction between archaic beetle and Anorith. There are fossil Pokémon here that have been extinct for thousands or even 10,000 years. Sure enough. The world tree is a pure land. Everyone lives together in harmony, loves each other, and there is no struggle. So these extinct fossil Pokémon can exist safely. Yulongdu. Fortunately, the world tree is not only difficult to find, but there are also sacred pillars waiting for it. Otherwise, those villain organizations and poaching groups would have already invaded. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Don't underestimate the poaching syndicates. They may be over it now. What does that difficulty mean to those guys who want money rather than their lives? Close black lens bracket. As Wallace said, those poaching organizations and villain organizations are already preparing to go to World Tree. Although there are layers of fog surrounding the World Tree, and mysterious forces organize their search for the World Tree. But, when the benefits are big enough, what does this difficulty mean? For them, profit means everything. In the image. After arriving inside the World Tree, Xiao 5.8G and others first sighed at the magic of the World Tree. I immediately started looking for Pikachu. They have not forgotten the original purpose of coming here. Chi Duo also took out a row of machines and sent them flying. This is a machine used to collect some components of the World Tree. In this case, you might be able to peek into some of the secrets of the World Tree. Banks, Cheeto's companion who was somewhere far away, also began to control the computer. While Xiaozhi and the others were looking for Pikachu, Banks also began to analyze all of the World Tree. This entire World Tree relies on absorbing light energy to survive. And its survival history is at least more than 10,000 years. It can be said to be a miraculous existence in the world. However, when the investigation machine had just extracted some components of the World Tree, the blue crystals all over the World Tree suddenly turned orange and directly swallowed up the investigation machine. Banks looked at the warning words on the screen and suddenly felt something was wrong. At the same time, Xiaozhi and Lucario took the lead and arrived deeper inside the World Tree. According to Lucario's waveguide observations, Pikachu is at the top of the World Tree. And Xiaozhi started shouting Pikachu directly from the bottom of the World Tree. Logically speaking, Xiaozhi's voice cannot be conveyed at such a long distance. But, it was Pikachu he was shouting for. That Pikachu who has an extremely deep bond with him. Amidst these shouts, Pikachu seemed to hear Xiaozhi's voice from his heart. He also ran out quickly and shouted at the bottom of the World Tree. Pikapi. The sound echoed throughout the World Tree, but Xiaozhi, who is under the World Tree, can't theoretically hear it. However, that's just theory. Xiaozhi actually heard or felt Pikachu calling him.